Missed the boat on that. All right, here we go. Going live on YouTube as well. We're just someone in the YouTube comments, they found us out because they're like they scheduled the live stream to start at 10:05, so they wouldn't be late. But we're still late because it's 10:09, so we're 4 minutes late to our 5-minute later start time. So there it is. Plat Chat episode 165. How's it going, everybody? Hey, friends.
I'm awake.
Big chillin'.
Joel's just sending me zip files on Discord right when we go live.
Johnny viruses. I'm sending Johnny viruses.
Dude, I've been having to deal with viruses as well, by the way. Before you go on your tangent.
Okay, please go on, actually.
This is extremely adulthood filled, okay? But like my whole thing is like, I've been having to deal with a lot of tax stuff with my house situation, and the Dallas County zone in Texas, they got ransomware. The whole tax, like all the offices in Dallas County, their whole like tax collection and assessment offices got ransomwared, and they spent like months trying to be like, we can break, like literally the video is like, we can break these cuffs. It's like, you can't break these cuffs. And like they're sitting there like trying to beat the ransomware, and they couldn't, and they eventually, I think they just paid the ransom to get their systems back. And so like I've been dealing with all this fucking tax shit because of like the whole county assessor's office in Dallas County, Texas got held ransom by a bunch of like 14-year-old like Uzbekistan teenagers.
What?
Something. So
ransomware is very prevalent. If ransomware
they clicked on the wrong zip link.
Statistics on ransomware over the last
someone opened the wrong email.
It is going crazy because the shit is just, people have realized that this happens. You could relate this to literally anything in the fucking world. It's way better to produce than to actually spread when it comes to like viruses and ransomware and shit. The amount of stuff you can just like, you can buy shit for hire now, like viruses and like Redline, which is like a...
Joe, what are you talking about? How do you know all this?
Because he just sent you ransomware.
Because he's about to have an affiliate link.
Ransomware, Johnny.
He said it. Click on the link.
It's so sus as well. obs-multi-rtmp-portable.zip. What is this?
Yeah,
just click on it. Just click on it.
Johnny.
Execute
it. Yeah, you don't have
give
to
it admin permissions.
It's only a zip.
Ransomware.com/jaws to get 10% off.
No, Johnny, it's an RMTP thing for YouTube, so it takes you 2 button clicks instead of 17 when you go live on YouTube for Plat Chat. It's just an extension for OBS.
Oh, right.
It's just to help you and help Plat Chat.
Got it. I don't trust you that much, Jaws. I've only seen you like 2 times in person. Maybe like 5. I don't know. I don't keep track.
Yeah,
2 times.
What are you saying?
More like 5 maybe. Sorry, 2 is a bit few. I don't know. COVID got in the way. Anyway, Plat Chat episode 165. How's it going, guys? Got a bit of a shorter episode on our hands today, but I still think it'll be fun because there's a lot going on in the Overwatch community. So, you know,
it's a cat.
Yeah,
yeah. My cat. They have a really bad habit of getting in the fucking way. They just can't. I'm just like, I literally try to train them. I'm like, okay, sit on my lap or go over well, but like, no, I'm gonna sit directly in front of your screen all the fucking time. They refuse to just sit down. Just sit down, please.
Do they do that all the time, or is it only during the podcast?
All the time. All the
when
time.
You're streaming.
The thing
is that I'm generally in front of my work PC doing the podcast or streaming, so like that's when it's most prevalent. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Someone in YouTube chat asked, "Have you done our Valorant preds yet?" What are our preds? I've asked. What are our Valorant preds for lock-in?
The Valorant preds for lock-in? Yeah. I mean, you're honestly not in a bad spot. I have to go look at the current brackets. I think so far, yeah, Giants beat Detonation, Koi lost energy. I mean, it's way too early to tell. I still think my favorites, if you're just based on my previous, my current beliefs is my favorites are probably DRX and NRG for this first event. And I would say that like, that's going to be your potential finalists. So DRX and NRG is my particular take, but I think I would probably take for the very first event DRX, but honestly, NRG looks so good versus Koi. So I don't know. That's my Valorant preds is like, I'm just going to go with the safe bet because America #1 and put NRG. So
Seth would want me to say DRX, so I'm just gonna go with whatever pleases him.
That's fair.
Has Korea? No, never mind. I'm not gonna go down the Valorant.
We're getting into the Valorant section of the Overwatch podcast.
Leap into the Valorant
position.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll talk about Overwatch. All right. It's still the off season, and I mean, given that the format came out for the 2023 season, we still have, almost, I guess,
a month plus
2 months till the Overwatch League starts. We got the Pro-Am starting in a month, and then
technically we get like a preseason, right? We get an actual preseason, sort of.
Yeah.
What's been promised for years is finally coming around.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know, this is the second
Exciting.
shortest off season as well. Officially, this will be the second
That
shortest
is
off season.
crazy when you say that.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
You're counting the season start from the Pro-Am, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, if you count the pro, I think if you count the pro, there was a post about it that actually officially did it. Let me find it. But I was reading, I was like, holy shit, this is the second shortest offseason. There's just no way.
That
feels
crazy.
depressing. Somewhat.
Let's see. I'm gonna go find it.
Like an eternity.
Yeah, it's because like every offseason has been like 6. Because also you have to remember last season ended so late because it was delayed. So technically we didn't have like our usual end date. So I think this offseason is going to be like 4.5, 5 months in length, while the next shortest is like 3.5 months, and then every other offseason is like 6 months.
What was the longest?
So
you know what the longest was?
The longest was I want to say it was like it might have been it was the season before, like, so the off season before season 4.
So 2020 going into 2021?
Yeah, or the one going into 2022. It was one of those.
The one where someone spread a rumor that the season was going to start in like December 2022 or something.
What year was that? That was last. So
that was 2022. That was 2022.
2021 going to 2022.
Yeah.
Was that the longest?
I'm trying to find the post.
Yes, got
really
reported that, but there were genuinely people behind the scenes who like tried to spread that rumor and like try to.
It was just, we've discussed this and I've molded about this before, but like that was literally made up and then somehow spread everywhere and then to mainstream publication news. I'm not sure if it was because that was a 5%. Look, I'm not sure the stock drop thing is correlated, but it did happen on that.
No. But so, okay, let's start there then, because I wanted to dig in a bit on the 2023 format. We didn't get to do it last week, but we did have that interview, me, Custa, Sean, and Matt. But we didn't really get to discuss the format. So let's start big picture. We can dive into the specific stages and all of the, mid-season madness and everything all that was. But here's my first question that I have for you guys, as it feels like the Overwatch esports landscape is sort of pivoting. And we've had this conversation before, especially with the recent World Cup announcements. My first question to you guys is there enough Overwatch League in the year to justify this entire big league? Because at first glance, I'll give you my thoughts. I was like, okay, we're getting more of the World Cup. People love that. People love the World Cup. It's like one of our best events. People love it. They get really into it, especially, BlizzCon, and like the crowd is really into it, representing the countries and all that stuff. We're getting a Pro-Am really into the Overwatch League. I guess you could say that that's part of the Overwatch League, so that's cool. But just looking at the Overwatch League as a whole, like the regular season, the stages, the playoffs, I mean, we're going from late April to October, which is about 6 months. So the question from me to you guys really is a 6-month season for your flagship tournament really enough to like especially justify like all the franchise buy-ins and all the hype going into it? Is 6 months enough for Overwatch League for you guys, or do you like to see a longer season this time around?
It depends, I think, because a lot of seasons in other games have viewer fatigue, like a lot of viewer fatigue, and I'd rather have a shorter season that is more hype, more impactful, and like more shit going on than I would a longer season just for the sake of it. Because the viewer fatigue goes crazy in like League, and it has done for a while. Especially when like I was commentating that game, like holy shit, the seasons are so long. So that's like the good side, I guess, of Overwatch League, having a little bit more of a condensed season, but it always feels exciting throughout the year. Obviously, there is viewer fatigue and it does impact it, but I'd argue that less impactful than other games. But off-season being this long without content feels fucking terrible. Although this year with Pro-Am and World Cup mixed in with Overwatch League, there is like more going on in Overwatch esports than there ever has been done before.
I guess my question is like, we haven't seen the World Cup coverage yet, and we've yet to go into the Pro-Am and like how that looks as well. So we don't know what the future content is going to be, if that's going to be satisfactory. But Overwatch League I can like rely on for a professional looking great esports product in Overwatch. Yeah. So we'll see with World Cup and Pro-Am.
I got an answer. I think 6 months is fine if there's adequate off-season content to sort of tie you over. The issue with this is that there's no off-season content. The season ends, and then it's 5 to 6 months, and then season starts. And in that 5 to 6 months, it's just complete silence, no esports, nothing. Contenders ends a little bit later, and then Contenders stops as well. This year, the World Cup conversation is really important because the World Cup will take, there'll be stuff happening in the middle of the year between the two splits that we have, and then World Cup at the end of the year on the schedule after October. We have to imagine that's the World Cup finals afterwards. I don't know, BlizzCon's coming back, but curiously, it's taking place around the same time BlizzCon normally would be, and World Cup's got to be on land eventually, so something's happening at the end of the year around November. I don't necessarily think, because to Jack's point here, I mean, like, I think viewer fatigue is real as well. And you also, I don't know what the team's thoughts are on, because the teams, how quickly do they want to move? Do they want to be a little bit more rushed in rosters, contracts, whatever? I don't really know from the team side what their preferences. Maybe they prefer it to be more like this. If I assume that, then it's like, okay, 6 months is okay, but 2 months before the league starts, I'd like to see a little bit more activation, some more stuff going on, some sort of off-season content, maybe some third-party tournaments for teams that actually have their rosters together. Maybe you could have another I don't know, like something else, so that it is not a 6 month off-season. It's more like a 4 month off-season, 2 months of some off-season content, 6 months of the Overwatch League, and then World Cup.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I've asked you, had any thoughts on this, or because?
Well, I've been fucking frantically searching for that comment that did the analyzation. Ah, here it is. I found it. I finally found it. So, by the way, so here's how the offseason. Yeah, I'll send it to you. So this was done by Excommunicado, someone that also made all the like Hoot GG stonks and stuff. Yeah, they made all the Hoot.gg website, like the fake market.
Oh,
and such.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll just put it in the Overwatch. Do you want me to just put it in the Overwatch?
Is it this one?
Yes, but it's in the comments of it. I just sent you the exact comment, but essentially it's like,
okay.
The season 2 off season was 6 months and 17 days. Season 3 off season was 4 months and 7 days. Season 4 off season was 6 months and 4 days. The season 5 off season, so the off season last year was 7 months and 7 days.
How did we get through that?
And the season 6 off season will be 5 months and 16 days if you exclude the West Pro-Am. So that means this is the second shortest off season in Overwatch League history by a pretty decent margin. Like, this is about a month-ish, a month from the next highest, and then 2 months from the longest.
Yeah.
Like,
looking at that 7 months, 7 days now, it's like ridiculous. I can't remember how we got through that.
I had like an existential crisis during that off season. I mean, I should find something to do, but Jesus Christ.
That's the majority of the year was an off season.
Yeah, what the fuck happened?
I'm like, is this true?
What happened is we were waiting for a beta. That's what happened. But
it was the beta. Yeah, it was just the beta situation with the game. Like that was when the ownership groups and the league were fighting about, like, do we play on Overwatch 1? Do we play on Overwatch 2? Like, people wanted to play on Overwatch 2, but like the game wasn't ready. So like it was like a whole fucked up mess. Literally a whole fucked up mess.
Bro,
like it was just a disaster.
Can you guys remember what you did in this 7 month off season? I can't remember.
Watched Attack on Titan. And
I
episodes
was
talking about it.
I have a normal job, didn't I?
I had jobs, like, so
yeah. Well, you got a job, but fuck me, man. I think I was just playing Apex, maybe, because the game wasn't out and I didn't want to play Overwatch 1. That was awful.
Yeah.
What a fucking awful time.
I don't remember what I actually don't remember what I was doing daily.
So I guess the impossible kind of question. I mean, you just review this information here. I guess so. Okay, there's two ways to look at this. One is, what is best for the Overwatch esports? What is best for a fan of Overwatch esports? How do you keep a fan engaged with the content that is being produced, with all the tournaments that are being organized? Like you said, viewership fatigue. Like maybe if Overwatch League was 10 months, the viewer would just be like, well, Overwatch League is what it is, and it's not really, it's pretty monotonous and there's not a lot going on. Maybe if you introduce World Cup into that, contenders, focus on collegiate, like more cross interaction with Pro-Am, maybe that's better for the viewer. But another perspective of this that I find really interesting, and that I probably should ask those people instead of asking us, because we have no idea. But I'm curious about, like, if I'm an investor in the Overwatch League, or if I'm a general manager of the Overwatch League, how do I feel about the fact that the Overwatch League only goes on for like 6 months of the year, and Pro-Am, let's include the Pro-Am, just 7 months of the year, because the Overwatch League teams are participating in that. Because at the end of the day, Overwatch League is supposed to be like the flagship product of the Overwatch esports space. It's supposed to be this huge, massive thing. And now starting to build like stuff around that, I'm just curious what you guys think about. Well, is this going to have some kind of like diminishing value on the Overwatch League per se, as more emphasis is put on other products around the Overwatch League? Or do you actually think that it'll be this like exclusive kind of like tournament product where you're like, well, we only get 6-7 months of Overwatch League a year, so let's really like treasure it, and it's going to be even more important and even more fun to follow throughout that period. Do you think that a shorter Overwatch League season is better from like the teams and the product, or do you think that, well, if you just had 10 months, that would be better for the Overwatch space as a whole in terms of
Is this
like,
short? Is 6 months short? Because like, isn't traditional sports like NBA only like 7 months anyway? I don't know how long.
yeah, but I
NFL
think that's trash.
seasons are.
I mean, that's a separate conversation, but I'm like, there's no way we should be at traditional sports in that sense. Like, we're video games. Like, we can fucking play video games every week of the year, And yeah, you want to get breaks and stuff, but
it just depends on what because like personally, I think the reality is if you're not making content for your game, you're not going to grow. So like that's the number one problem inherently with a short season, right? A very short season is that if you're not producing content and games, how are you going to grow your esports ecosystem? If you're literally, let's say for example, like the off season going into the longest one, 7 months. If you were offline for 7 months, how in the fuck is your esports ecosystem? And then even then, their average is 6 months, right? 6 months of the year for an esport is insanity. Like, it's different for games that have been around for the past 300 years, or games that have been around for 1,000 years, or all of human history, right? Like, but like for a game that's existed in a blip of the universe that is Overwatch, like, how are you going to even grow yourself against all these competing products if you're not online the air more? It's the same issue that content creators in general have. Like, you have to be putting a lot of stuff out into the airways, and it doesn't. I kind of agree with Avril's point. I don't think that league itself has to run for more than 6 months, but I do think there has to be more competition occurring for more than 6 months. Like, you can just literally just steal the Valiant system and be like, okay, like, we'll have 6 months of Overwatch League, like, so 6 months of like their VCT, and then the other 3 months of the year or so, like, so they have like a 2 to 3 month off season, and then the other 3 months or so are filled with third-party competitions and tournaments, and like they're trying to get as many partnered teams and like teams that, so in this case Overwatch League teams, as possible to compete, along with working with influencers and content creators to build like fun, interesting events that even if they're not as serious, they're still like they're still debuting pro players and building their personalities, and like, because that's the thing, is the product as a whole, it's not just about like, I don't give a shit what some crusty like I only care about competition person says. At the end of the day, competitive esports products are built around the content. There are going to be people that only care about, like, I only want to watch the purest form of the game. I want it distilled for 18 hours and then put the pure competitive spirit into my veins. It's like, yeah, that's great, but that's not what gets you your views. And like, you need to be putting a lot of variety of products that are that competition based into the system. And that doesn't mean, so that means we don't have to have the Overwatch League for 6 months for 10 months, right? We can have 6 months of Overwatch League. We can have 3 months of third-party tournaments and content creator tournaments with pro players. Like, and like pug teams. Like, there's a lot of different angles that we can approach this from, but the end result is, no matter what, there literally has to be more competitive Overwatch if you want the esport to grow. That's like that's the baseline. That's literally the baseline. You have to do that. So,
all right, let's
it
start.
feels like they're attempting to do that with Pro-Am. No, that's it. I was going to say they're attempting to do that with Pro-Am, right? I think that's the idea of what it seems to be, because if we didn't have the Pro-Am, we'd be starting hella fucking late. So with Pro-Am, at least, they've extended the season in a way, or like extended the content, at least for. That's a good first step. But yeah, I do agree with that.
That's a great first
step. Can I add another way
to
like measure this? Is actually not in the literal length of like time, but in how many matches teams get to play. So what is a length of season based on matches played? We can agree that 40 is too long. 16 seems to be the minimum. You really can't go below 16 at the moment. I think a sweet spot is like 20. What we had last year felt pretty good to me in around 20. And that is another way to look at season length.
In the interview we did last week, yeah. So it'll be about between 16 and
20.
Oh,
is it 20 again?
16.
Why did I think
16?
16?
It might be 16, but it's about the same this year, I think they said, yeah.
Yeah, and I think
20,
that's more reasonable because because you have to think like if you were outside of third party stuff and outside of like non Overwatch League stuff, and I'll throw a pro-am into that bucket because it's like it doesn't affect your actual regular season. When you extend your season beyond 6 months to 7, 8, 9, however many months, what are you filling that with? It's probably going to be more regular season games. Maybe you could throw in more tournaments in there as well. And then you have to start asking the question of like, well, how many is too many regular season games or just too many games in general that would then lead to viewer fatigue? Is 28 games too many? 24? Like, what's a good number? I think like looking at that is maybe a better way of assessing what the ideal position to be. And I think 20 is about the right spot for me.
All right.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think because also like they had the format pretty good where like teams were playing an even number of times. Like every team was playing an even number of times. And then like, but then scheduling kerfuffles happened where it's like, oh yeah, you play this team twice, but you're gonna play them both in the beginning of the season. And it's like, okay, well, we don't have to do that. But like, you know, like that. So like they had it. Like the system, the amount of matches, I think they kind of honed in on like a correct amount of matches. I think they have honed in on that.
Yeah. So before we move on, if you got to add one thing to like the Overwatch esports circuit, now we're going to have the World Cup for a little bit going into this. We have got the Pro-Am, the people have been asking for forever, some tier 2 integration. Then we have the Overwatch League and supposedly the World Cup finals, assumingly after the playoffs. Between that like November to February point, are you fine with just an off season, or is there anything else you would like to add that you just like love to see in the circuit that you think would be beneficial for the scene?
November to February is fine though. That's only 4 months, right?
Yeah.
That seems pretty normal.
I'm just saying, you could have anything you want, Joss. You could have any tournament you want. What would you love to see?
I don't want anything. I want no competition at all. I want everybody to have a good Christmas.
He wants to sit on his ass and stream Apex.
Yeah, I did. Stream Apex, bro. Overwatch 2 is out. I streamed that. I played 500 games last season, bro. I need to play 500 more this season. Like, I need... You know, at the end of the day, I think having an off season is good and a little bit of a break for sure. I mean, running bits and pieces here and there during that time would be good, especially with like content creators and stuff. But I think 4 months in general, I think is actually okay. Although I will say one fucking thing. That's fine having that 4 month off season, but please just give me the login to the Overwatch League YouTube channel. Like, I will make content for that fucking channel. Just that's what I think my biggest gripe with the off season is that the YouTube channel, it doesn't go fully dead and silent. Like there are bits and pieces every now and then, but like a constant stream of videos, whether it's like fucking reviews or like something, like anything during the off season, 1 video a week.
What are they reviewing?
You know, I don't fucking know. I will make shit up. Like, just,
I mean, honestly, looking at that YouTube channel there, that's way better than it was in the previous years. It's still not good, but it's still not good.
But like, I think that for me would really be like, okay, off season, great, because there is a break. Everybody needs a fucking break. But I think for the YouTube channel, you know, not even for the fucking algorithm, but like 1 video a week or like something like that. You look at the best highlight plays from like this week or that week or just anything. There's a list of content you could do. I think that would really make me happy. I think is just having more content.
Yeah,
especially since we signed with YouTube like for the last few years, right? It's just like something.
Yeah, I guess sort of where this conversation stems from, and like my questions at the start of this podcast, sort of like where it stems from is actually because it feels like, especially as a content creator in the off season, that the fan engagement obviously drops off in the off season, but it feels pretty drastic. And so, you know, I've just been thinking about like, what are ways for the fan base to stay engaged with Overwatch esports throughout the off season? Because it can't be healthy for the scene that we have this drop between the end of playoffs to now mid-February when World Cup qualifiers kick in. I don't know how like interactive and engaging they're going to be, but like, it feels like the competitive part of the scene has just like quieted down. And I don't think it's necessarily a guarantee that all these people are going to come back. You know, some of those have looked for other avenues to find their entertainment, to find their content. And, you know, maybe some people went to Valorant instead and started to watch Lock-In, and who knows if they'll come back to the Overwatch League and stuff like that. So I guess part of like what I'm considering here is like fan retention in the Overwatch esports scene, because in my mind it can't be healthy that we have this long extended break and people are just like, where's the content, what is going on, it's been this many weeks since playoffs and nothing is going on. Like there needs to be like a middle ground to some extent to at least keep the fans engaged and have some kind of fun during the off season.
We should have a lock-in. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
we figured it out. We should have a lock-in.
I mean, legitimately, it's a good idea. Not a bad idea. There's a reason it's happening. It's a good concept. So it's literally, I'm almost unironically not trolling. If they just stole everything that the Valiant Esports global circuit did and did it for Overwatch League, it would be pretty good. Like it would, like if they just did all the same concepts for the most part, it would not be bad. Like it
would have been a World Cup though.
But I didn't say you have to remove everything else. I just said that you can just take
instead
all the VCT aspects for the Overwatch League.
They do a big thing for game changes, and for us, it's kind of like World Cup in terms of live events.
Yeah, we got calling all heroes. That was a success.
That's
calling all heroes is not even close to the production
I understand
value
it's
of game
there.
changers.
What I'm saying is, in terms of its position on the calendar, is what I'm more talking about. Because it's like World Cup is kind of like a big deal, and it's actually got a live event. Game Changers for Valorant has a live event.
True.
Calling all heroes isn't there yet. Maybe it will be one day.
Maybe.
I mean, I'd like to see the calendar even just added with, you know, maybe more contender stuff like Gauntlet. Let's say you have World Cup early November, Gauntlet happens either late November, super early December, gives people the chance to finish up there, go and do the Christmas stuff, maybe then have your January, February off. You could even take March off. I'm happy for something to start again in April or even March. I think like if you sort of pad out your year that way and you start a pro-am in April, you have January, February, March off. It's a 3-month off season. You fill out the November, December period with World Cup and Gauntlet. That seems like a good calendar to me.
Yeah. If you're adding calling all heroes as well to the calendar of World Cup, you know, contenders, Overwatch League, pro-ams, and all that stuff, I actually think that would be, you know, a welcome addition to the calendar, because I do think that calling all heroes was quite a success. I mean, there was a lot of like engagement surrounding those qualifiers and that entire tournament. Overwatch League franchises got involved and acquired rosters, and it just seemed in general that it brought like really good vibes, and so I hope they expand on that.
Got potential
this year. Yeah, it's got potential. Yeah, I feel like everyone really rallied around it, and it's a fun, great concept. So
you know, I have a concept as well in my mind in terms of my idea for like how it all maybe can integrate together, because calling all heroes could potentially integrate with tier 2 in a way where I'd like to see a Gauntlet where you bring the top collegiate teams, contenders teams, and calling all heroes teams to the same live event. Like that could be the Gauntlet. That'd be a super damn cool Gauntlet in my opinion. So be able to just put it all under one roof, and that'd be a pretty hype event.
all right.
Yeah, that'd be great. There's a lot of different options. At the end of the day, it's just a simple solution of like, you just have to have more happening. You literally just have to have more happening. There's just like, I don't even like, obviously there are better ways and good ways to do it, but like, that's just the baseline stat. They're just the baseline stat. And like, if they want to lean more into, I think, community aspects, I think that's perfectly fine. That's very reasonable. It seems like they want to do with World Cup. Let's do more creator cups. Let's do more influencer events. Let's include like calling all heroes teams, and like, you know, like there are so many ways to do it. You just have to do something.
Yeah, and I'll go back to the one example that I bring up quite a bit when we talk about older successful tournaments. When we had those tournaments as well, where everyone could sign up and content creators was in it, and it was like max 2 Overwatch League players per team. You know, Jake had his team, Dante had his team, and like content creators are in the mix as well. I can't recall the exact
What, experimental?
name. It was like in 2020, 2021 or something like that. It was like successful Flash Ops. Yeah, it was Flash Ops, I think, because it was like a successful community tournament and everyone was involved, and it was like competition for everybody. And you know, there was not a team of 6 Overwatch League players who signed up and just stomped everybody. So I'd like to see a few of those tournaments this year as well, because I really do think it helps engagement and people stay interested in that. But moving on, let's talk a bit more specifically about the 2023 format and what we'll be seeing the rest of this year. I take it that you guys all watched the announcement video and checked out some of the graphics, maybe even the Plat video last week. And we had this graphic posted in the blog where we can see the stages spread out. So of course we got the Pro-Am starting in March, and then after the bye in April we have the spring stage qualifiers starting. We have the spring stage opens for the East, which is essentially tier 2 qualifying for the spring stage, leading into knockouts before the mid-season madness. So I guess what this doesn't show as well, there needs to be some kind of qualifier for the Pro-Am. So, you know, on this left side here in March, there's going to be tier 2 qualifiers for Pro-Am. Then you have a qualifier for the Eastern region here as well in the Overwatch League. So I guess we can, quite frankly, just start with the tier 2 aspect of this, because I completely forgot we hadn't talked about this. Are you happy to see tier 2 in the Overwatch League?
Yes.
Specifically the Eastern region throughout the entire year?
I don't think
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
a
Admiral said
question.
it.
Right, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
No one's going to say
is
no,
there-
but I have to ask the question.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Good job doing a host.
Well, certain team owners might say no.
I think, yeah, that is true. That's kind of a debate I think we should probably talk about, but it's only a good thing, especially in the East that has been lacking teams in general ever since the big split because of COVID. So having more teams compete is fantastic. And not only that, dude, fucking O2 Blast from last year or the year before, like they're a fucking Overwatch League level team. So in the East, it's specifically exciting because my God, O2 Blast rocking up with a new roster after all of these trades have happened to Overwatch League teams is going to be hype as fuck. And people have wanted this for a long time. And it was cool to see like show matches that they did in this off season as well, with like O2 Blast and San Francisco Shock, like that kind of thing. That's exciting, and I think having this as a mainstay is even better. Like the East is going to be wacky and wild this year, and for like good reasons, not because LA Valiant, which I guess we have to talk about too, but you know, LA Valiant bombing out again. So yeah, it's cool.
It's what makes esports good. Is having tier 2, having the ability for team. The reason there's hype and interest in esports comparatively to a lot, and the reason that really differentiates it from current mainstream professional sports is that anyone can be a champion. Typically, is like that's typically how it's gone in many before like kind of these franchise systems took place. And this is not me saying that franchising is bad. I think franchising is overall a healthy thing in many respects, and depending on how you implement it, it's more so. Like when you eliminate the possibility for teams that are young, filled with young players, or like they've just been formed to have miracle runs, stuff like that, like those storylines, like they make themselves, and we eliminate the possibility for those storylines entirely. So like we're simply just eliminating the amount of, you know, content, narratives, storylines, and players to participate when you remove tier 2 competition, be involved in tier 1. And like I think it's fine if you have a system where like you have an insane amount of like. It kind of works in League of Legends because League of Legends has so many teams in each of their regions, right? So like you can kind of get away with that sort of franchising system because they have so many teams in each region. Overwatch League doesn't have that. So like we kind of just picked the worst version of franchising, and then also didn't even like, you know, we didn't really get any, we got some of the benefits of franchising, but also eliminate a lot of the benefits by like not allowing us to be regionally franchised in a way. Because they originally wanted to be global, but like obviously that's a whole other can of worms. So yeah, I think it's good. It's overall good for the health of the game. Obviously there's a second conversation to be had about like what does that mean for original investors and like team owners. But I mean, honestly, at this point, I mean, you know, you lost. You know, like
Connor,
you've lost.
There's something interesting to be said. Just picking off the back end of something you mentioned there in terms of like the Overwatch League franchise system. This is not me shifting topics because I'm going to get back to the tier 2 conversation real quick. But it does feel like we sort of ended up a little half-baked because we were supposed to get way more teams. Like the goal, the dream was to like get definitely more than 20 teams. And so with more than 20 teams, 28, 30, whatever the number the goal was, you'd then be able to actually fill out enough teams for it to feel better in terms of the amount of participating teams. Because 20 with a really disproportionate balance between East and West doesn't feel right. But I look at, you know, something like the CDL going back towards the tier 2 angle. They've been doing Pro-Am since like the second season. They're into how many seasons? What are they in now? They're into their third or fourth season?
They're like a season. They're a season behind us. So I want to say they'd be going into their 5th season then, right? Because we're going into season.
So they've had two. Yeah. I think they've had 2 Pro-Ams. So they had a Pro-Am last year. And I think that was the first time they did it, and then they have another Pro-Am this year. But they've already done it twice. So I look at that, and I'm like, bro, Activision Blizzard franchise leagues have already begun integrating that kind of thing. I think the next step is Overwatch needs to look at that as well and start to include that. There's been goodbye, Connor. There's been like not rumors, but like I think people just floating the idea around of like, dude, one way to maybe fix up the fact that the Eastern region doesn't have enough teams is to start including tier 2 in a way. And you know, I know that's been an idea that's been floated around unofficially. Just people just be like, well, that seems like a pretty good idea. And so I'm just glad that that is what ended up happening here, where, I mean, it just seems really obvious that, look, you have some super high quality teams from contenders there, from contenders Korea. All the best players have consistently come from there year on year. You're going to be able to get pretty high quality games. So there's really no downside from my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone involved kind of knows that it's a bit half-baked, especially like the region split as well. And now, well, the Eastern region's, you know, forced to include some tier 2 teams as well to like round out the region and make that interesting. Like in a perfect world, we'd probably have like 10 North American teams, or South American even, and 10 teams in APAC, and then, you know, some tier 2 teams added on top of that and even it out a little bit. But like, we're in a situation now where it's an uneven split, and it's just with 2 separate regions. Europe is not really doing anything. So I think in the long run, that would be aspirational and people will want to get there. But because we're sort of like moving away from fully closed franchising to opening the doors a little bit, and then maybe changing things around going into 2024 even, I mean, who knows where we're going? But it does feel like everyone knows that we're a little bit like half-baked in that regard. Where
are we opening the doors because that is like the true direction the league should be going, and that's what they want to do, or is it out of necessity? And I guess it's not mutually exclusive either. But right now, for me, it does feel like it's a little bit more out of column B in terms of it being a necessity. Like, damn, bro, we really don't have enough teams in the East at the moment. Valiant's gone back to the West as well. So
I agree with that 100%. I don't think this would have happened without the publishing deal in China falling through. 100%. I don't think this would have occurred. I think there might have been some internal pressure for it, but there's just no way. Like, this is just the impetus that caused it. And like, going back to your point too of like how, you know, we wanted more teams, it still wouldn't have fixed the problem, because like every one of those teams would have been either in China or the US. You know, like that's just how the investment landscape works.
It feels like we started in Europe and then just it didn't get anywhere.
But the problem is, though, it did sound from Sean in the interview last week that they've had their mind on this for quite some while with the tier 2 integration. I don't think it was a snap call decision. It's like, oh, the NetEase deal has expired, let's divide tier 2. I do think it was on top of their minds like before that even.
I mean, I think that they've been thinking but like you can always think about it, right? But you always need like a triggering event to make it happen sometimes. And like, this was an easy event to make it occur. I'm not saying they didn't think about it. Obviously, I'm sure everyone in the Overwatch League, talking to Matt and talking to Sean, everyone's always thought about it. It's just like, how the fuck do you do it? But now you had the perfect excuse to do it because of the fact that you literally couldn't run your franchises in China. So like, yeah. It's just like, I just think that like, I don't think they obviously weren't thinking about it. I just think that this was like a very good opportunity for them to, and like a catalyst for that to occur.
Am I crazy? I don't think it's linked. Personally, for me, I don't think it's really linked. I think regardless of the nitty, it's like, what does that even mean? Okay, cool. There's no Overwatch in China, but like, what has that got to do with tier 2 integration? If anything, like, you know, you don't even have tier 2 Chinese teams. This would be like,
well, I guess what he's saying is you would be scared that the Chinese orgs would just drop out and just be like, we can't field because like Overwatch is not allowed in China, or like not playable in China, and so it'd be get the Pacific teams in there, like get those two
Chinese teams Australia, actually dropped out.
Just play the region.
If they actually dropped out, I would see it. But you know, as far as I'm aware, they're not dropping out. We're getting all 20 teams back, so that's not.
Yeah, I mean, they've done the impossible in that respect for sure.
I don't even know how it's gonna work. Like,
well, I mean, they're gonna be. I think they've been saying that they're gonna play in
full Korean teams. Everyone just goes full Korean. Like, that's the obvious answer.
Yeah.
Except
no, because haven't they said a couple of them? There's not going full Korean, right? But I think that they're pretty much like they're gonna play in Korea because they literally can't play in China.
What I'm saying is, it's like on some level, it's really bad for the Chinese players, but it's not that hard to implement. Well, but the logistics might be hard because if you don't have infrastructure in Korea, it's probably gonna suck. But most of the Chinese teams were almost full Korean anyway, and Shanghai has always been full Korean. So it's like, well, apart from the early stages of season 1. But my point is like, I don't know that there was a strong link for me between the whole NetEase fiasco and the linking of tier 2. That's not like a super strong link for me. The whole thinking, we're talking about like the league thinking about making it work for the last 3 years, because to me it really has been probably 3 years in the works. That's when the regions really split. It was after Blizzard Arena, right? So that's when we had the regional split. the question always need to be answered. Like, what are we going to do? What's going to happen about the uneven split? And the sort of band-aid to that in the past was always like, hey, Philly, you want to move over to APAC? Hey, if you Valiant, you want to go over to the East as well? So they're trying to offload some teams from the West and put them over in the East. But now it's like they're trying to. My speculation is that it seems like this is a little bit more of a solid solution rather than just trying to force franchises over to the other region.
I mean, the teams are in a tough spot there, or the league rather. Like, I don't know how much like control they have over like where teams operate out of and like what region they want to participate in. So you know, I guess the league had to approve that Valiant like moved to APAC in the first place. LA just came and like, yo, we know we're called the LA Valiant guys, but we want to go play in China and be run
it's the
by
other
a
way around.
Chinese
The league
third party.
asked the Valiant to go. The Valiant didn't. That wasn't their decision originally. They had an NA team. They had a full NA team ready to play with an NA team in NA that season. Then they dropped the full NA.
I thought that was the
wait, no. I
league's
thought they
recommendation.
sold. Maybe I'm completely misremembering this, but I thought they had built a NA roster. Then Immortals the entire time have been shopping for buyers to offload the cost of their team, and then LGE essentially said like, "Oh yeah, we will operate your slot for you and take on the majority of the cost as long as we can operate out of China." And then Immortals said, "Oh yeah, fuck you guys, like we're a Chinese team now." Pretty sure that is not. I don't think the league
could
I don't know
block
if the
that
league was
if they wanted to. They could easily.
With what leverage? With what leverage?
That's the point, though.
The league has no leverage to stop teams moving. Like, why? If I was a league, if the league tell me like, "Hey, you can't do this," like, okay, well, fuck you. Like, I'm gonna do what I want.
I don't think it's
Valiant
as easy as
Valiant
that.
didn't even pay their players. Valiant didn't even pay their players this season. What leverage does the league have? What? I don't understand. Like, they can't. They have no power to stop these teams right now.
Paid LGE and then the money got lost elsewhere after that.
So
but we don't have to get into that discussion.
The point is, the league can incentivize teams to move region, but I don't think they have the mandate to just be like, well, we know we're running 13-7 split this entire time. Well, that's over. We're gonna run a 10-10 split now. Like, I don't think the league can like enforce that.
I'm saying it's a
we're in this
middle ground
difficult
thing.
scenario now.
I'm not saying the league forces teams over, and I'm not saying the teams just say I'm moving and you can't stop me. I don't think it's as hardcore as that.
Sure, yeah, I'm sure there's
definitely
like
something in the middle.
Yeah.
There's some discourse. I'm just saying, like, I don't think the league told them to move. I think they were just looking.
No,
for
they didn't tell them to move. It was like, hey, we need teams. We need to try and balance out. Does anyone want to go to the East? Valiant's like, all right. But anyway, I guess to rewind back to where this, because this is now a different topic. To rewind back to what it's got to do with tier 2. My whole position on this is that we finally arrived at this position because it's like you can't just sort of band-aid this with seeing what teams may or may not want to shift regions, and it's kind of ridiculous as well because most teams are NA based, NA franchises. Why would they want to go anyway? So I wouldn't say that this is the permanent solution, or at least I don't know, but this is like definitely a more permanent solution than teams figuring out if they want to move regions. Like, this is a better solution than that.
I mean,
that's how we arrived here.
It should be a permanent solution, including tier 2 with tier 1. Also, it doesn't really matter how we got here as well, right? I don't know. Like, it feels like the conversation is a little bit pointless in that regard, just because it literally doesn't matter. Like, if this was the catalyst,
the podcast doesn't
catalyst
matter
for this. Yeah, the podcast doesn't matter.
I'm just saying NetEase, I don't think had much to do with this as well.
But like, to be fair, like, it doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day whether this was the catalyst or not. I just don't see. I don't know. Am I the only one that's like highest right now? Like,
so I don't know if it will be permanent. It really will come down to like how the teams, whether it should be and whether it will be.
I mean, I think the point is like, yes, tier 2 integrated should be permanent, but like the qualification system we have now, the split of the teams between the regions, like I really believe Sean when he said on the podcast last week that like they don't really believe that there's like a perfect format, and like they always want to reiterate, and they always want to like change year over year and fix what didn't work and like improve upon the format. And so I think, this is going to be the 2023 format, and then we'll see what the fuck happens with 2024, because it's not going to be the same as this one. So
should not maybe I'm the only one, but they are trying to iterate, and I appreciate that, and it's good that they are doing this, and including tier 2 teams now. If we go in a complete 180 direction next year, I will be majorly disappointed, because I think the league will benefit overall in the long run from a more consistent format. If we make small tweaks here and there, sure, like, oh, only this many teams can now play against the Overwatch League teams, or like whatever, like who cares? But the basis, the bare bones should be consistent. And obviously COVID threw everything into fucking whack, yada yada yada, but we are now in 2023. If this is not near-ish the final iteration of the league's format, if it's not, then I'm gonna
Jack.
Disappointed.
Idealistically, I agree with you, but I think it comes down to how the owners feel about it after the season is done, where it's just like, okay, well, how was the tier 2 integration? Was it successful or not from the owner's perspective? Some owners are really into this. Some owners probably feel like this is going to devalue the franchise, which I think objectively that is true. It probably will devalue the franchise somewhat. So that's the battle internally that's going to need to take place in terms of whether this can or will continue in the future.
I think we can all agree, though, that at the end of the day, it's good for the league. It's good for the Overwatch esports. So while some owners at face value might look at this calendar and be like, well, tier 2 integration, that's going to hurt the franchise value of my Eastern region team. But it might be the case, actually, that tier 2 integration into the league is going to be so good for like the league and the space overall that actually the franchise benefits as a result, because there's more engagement.
The league benefits. So the counter argument is, well, if the entire league benefits and everyone likes it, then that raised the value of the entire league plus a franchise because it's a positive. That would be the counter argument.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think we'll ever go. I fully expect tier 2 to continue to be part of the Overwatch League moving forward, and we'll see to what degree, because quite frankly, having a pro-am at the start of the West, awesome, great stuff. Then having the Eastern region teams being able to play and participate in the Overwatch League and even win the mid-season madness and win the Overwatch League finals, whereas the Western contenders teams can't. I'm like, okay, what are we doing there? So Eastern contenders teams can win the league, but Western can't? And like, oh, okay, that's a bit all over the place. That's a bit weird. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But here we go. Half-baked 2023 season.
Well, we didn't really discuss any of the other format things at all.
No, we did not. Well, tier 2 is a pretty big topic. So
sure. 2 splits.
Are we going to discuss like any of the rest of the format?
No, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Or do we
go ahead?
Okay. Are we starting now? I don't know I don't know if we're doing that next or if we're doing that right now. So like, I'll just go first. Yeah, I'll go first. There's 2 tournaments the whole year. Also, Mid-Season Madness has 6 teams in it. Hello? What the fuck?
Like, that's good or bad?
Horrible. I think it's terrible. You can't have a madness and have 6 teams in it. It can't be called mid-season madness. I mean, I guess it is. I guess
the madness thing would be if there was only one team.
That is the most. Yeah, that'd be the most madness. You do 2 teams and it's a duel and it's a gulag and one of the teams exits. That's the madness. So like, yeah, I think tier 2. Also, we didn't even discuss tier 2 being integrated into tier 1. It affects tier 1, right? But also it affects tier 2 because they've changed the requirements to even compete in contenders now. You have to be 17, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of that affects a lot of players throughout all of tier 2.
Is it just East?
No, I think it's a universal.
Because the West doesn't, they just play the Pro-Am and that's it.
Because Tree is the legendary NA prodigy Tree, who is now in collegiate esports at the age of like 15, is not allowed to play in contenders, I believe, for this upcoming season because he's 15.
That's really bad for NA, because NA don't have the same level of integration as like the Eastern contenders region. So I don't know why that applies to them unless they just, well, it's got to be fully covering the whole Path to Pro system. I don't know.
But I can live with 2 international tournaments if we have homestands. Is the thing. I don't think it's good. I think only having 2 international tournaments is still bad, especially if one of the mid tournaments has 6 teams. I think that's fucking atrocious. But I do think that if there's homestands, at least 1 to 2 homestands for both regions during that, then I can at least excuse it. If there are 2 tournaments, one which has 6 and no homestands, this is way worse. Then like this is so much worse in many capacities. Like you can't also just be like we're only having 2 international events, because like when we get back into the issue once again of like the splitting of the regions, we don't have enough teams in the regions, and it's like, okay, well, like we've done literally we've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. Like we haven't done anything else to integrate this into an international system more, to like have that more international competition, to make it feel more international. Like it's just I don't. Like, that's pretty bad to me. I love the tier 2 additions, though I do think it's going to have some potentially negative impacts on tier 2, but also guess what? Like, that's just how it has to be in certain respects, even though it stinks. But I don't think having 2 tournaments, one which has 6 teams, is very.
How many teams do you want? What's a good number?
I would say if you're gonna have a truly, like, if we're only gonna have 2, that's the thing. If you have more international competitions, I'm willing to have less teams per tournament, right? But if you're gonna only have 2, you should have more teams per tournament. Like, you should be like, if you're only having 2 total events, like maybe each event should have like 10 to 12 teams, right? Like because you only have
the majority
2.
of the league being there, because that was part of the issue with like past stuff, is like, how much does the regular season matter when only like the bottom 4 teams get knocked down? Like almost everybody makes it. And, you know what I mean? I think maybe 6 sounds low for sure. I think 8 is maybe like a safe spot from my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine to 8 to 10. It's more so like we can't have 6 like when we only have 2 tournaments. Like that's my main thing. Is like I would be fine. Like I honestly would be cool with 6 if we had like 3 or 4 international events. If each event minus like playoffs, right? Like if each event was like we have 3 regular season tournaments and then 1 postseason. Postseason has a larger amount of teams because that's like postseason. The other 3 events had like 6 teams per thing. I'm like, okay, I think that's fair. Like, because we have 3 other events. If we have 2 total events, one of which includes the postseason, like that's just too little international competition. It's just simply too little.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why I'm like, we need to upgrade it. Like you need to have more teams in the mid-season madness. Like that's why like even though 12 might seem a lot, like, well, guess what? That's the only other tournament until postseason. But like, when are we gonna get to see anyone else compete on LAN in an international setting? So like, yeah, I saw this schedule. Wrong, but
I thought that the knockouts indicated like some kind of like stage conclusion, but I kind of been thrown off, and now I don't know if this is like qualifiers for like a bracket qualifier for something, or if it's like a stage finals, or like what the knockouts are. Like I don't know.
It's like a domestic stage final, right?
Yeah, they're domestic.
That's how I look at it.
So why does the spring stage knockouts in the East cover like 3 weeks?
Because I'm assuming that like maybe something to do with the tier 2 integration there. Like there's buys involved. Like I'm not exactly certain, but like
if these are
I'm
tournaments,
actually with Johnny. I have no clue.
If these knockouts are tournaments, so you have like spring stage knockouts tournaments, and then you have a bye, and then you have like a mid-season intermission, and then you have qualifiers, and then you have 2 more tournaments. By the way, this one says qualifiers. I'm assuming this is knockouts in August here, and then you have play-ins. Like at that point, okay, fair enough. You have 2 stage finals and 2 global events. I can kind of fuck with that, but I don't know what the knockouts are, so I don't even know if this.
Yeah, I don't know if they're, and also I don't know if they're LAN events, right? We don't know if they're LAN events. If they're homestand LAN events, like I said, that would be. I would still not be happy with it because I want more international competition. I want more international competition, but I'd be okay with it at least.
I strongly speculate, and I very clearly am just speculating here, but they still got that theater in Seoul that we all went to watch the contenders games. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets heavily used this year for basically live matches for the Eastern region, because they tested out Fusion versus Seoul last year, and I got a huge response. I got a lot of a fan response in terms of how popular it was. Like they had to do a lottery to get a ticket. You couldn't just buy a ticket; you had to enter a lottery because there was too many people that wanted to go. Given that, I expect most of the teams in the East to be based out of Korea with Korean rosters, maybe minus Hangzhou. And then with the contenders integration, let's be honest, most of them, if not all of them, probably all of them, are going to be contenders Korea teams just because they tend to be the best. And contenders China is dead, so the second best region's just been deleted, and Pacific's too new, and Australia's, they'll try their best, but we'll see how they do. It's probably not going to be good enough. So it'll probably just be Contenders Korea. It makes the most sense today. And they were playing full seasons of Contenders Korea out of that theater anyway. Every single match in the East that is between basically Korean players should just be played on LAN.
Yeah. I mean,
There's no reason not
fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that if that's what they want to do. But that's not really a solution for the West. I think. That's not a solution for the West, though. Like, West... They're still where
it's all moved to Dallas.
That's I mean, like that's great and all for the East region. Very happy for you, East region. Super happy. But what about the West? Like that's cool.
No, I'm kidding. But
it's just
I get where the league is coming from, because essentially the way they rationalized on the podcast was like, well, we want to make regular season more interesting. So like regular season qualification games matter more because it's a harder cutoff for tournaments. So you're not going to like win two regular season games and be like, oh, you qualify for the mid-season madness. Woo! Instead, like you actually have to be like a legitimately great team to qualify for the mid-season madness, and it's going to be, you know, creme de la creme. It's going to be the top teams competing and such. But a small part of me just like, damn, like, you know, I know we had a lot of issues with like the beta and like the Jotes meta, but like the tournament formats were pretty fucking sick. Like the mid-season madness was the best Overwatch League tournament we've had because there were a lot of teams in it, and it was a great meta, and it was legitimately just like fun with people on LAN.
Well, also
so
it was like a very good
back
event.
on that. I'm like, okay, I mean, it's a risky bet to take what was really successful and then just like change it up quite drastically. I don't know what you said, because I was talking, but.
Oh, sorry, I made a joke. I made a joke about the discs. I said all they had to do was push the discs back, and it was a good event. No, I think I think the only criticism I had of last season was the qualification pathways, where like some, you know, I can't remember which stages mattered, which stages didn't matter. Like
the first two stages mattered significantly more than
and there was snowballing in the point. Yeah, that was just like, what is going on with the format here?
No reason, literally no reason.
The system last year was crazy. That was a real madness of last season. So aside from the wacky point system of last year, I agree with you, John.
Yeah, and they're also important to note that they recognize that like seeding was such a disaster last year. So what they said that they're releasing the other half of the schedule for the year after the mid-season madness.
The schedule, right?
To like reseed the schedule and make sure that, you know, you don't get screwed by playing like the best teams in the league to at one stage. So some kind of evenness there. So
I gotta say, Eastern region last year was tight because like there was a round robin every stage, perfect strength of schedule. Yeah. You played every single team every stage. I personally enjoyed that a lot. Obviously, it's
probably not happening this year because there's so many teams.
No, in fact, it won't happen again this year. It won't be possible. Won't be enough games. But they weirdly messed it up in the West, where like, okay, double round robin sounds great, but then as Connor said, some of the teams played the same team in the same half of the year. It's like, okay, if you do a double round robin, surely the first half of the year you do the first round robin, second half of the year you do the second round robin. You don't do a thing where like, oh, I play Shock twice in the first half of the year. What is up with that? That was weird as well.
Yeah, they're so close, so literally so close to perfection, and yet we managed that. So close. Randomly change up our stage formats, which were perfect, and then like, oh, by the way, the first two stages are obscenely weighted for like no reason. Like it's just like I don't understand like why that occurred. But like overall, if these, going back to the original point, if these stage finals for each region are LAN events with a decent amount of teams in them, like, I think I can live with this. If they are not LAN events, I will be a bonobo in the enclosure flinging my shit at the wall because this is dog if they're not LAN events.
We're going to get Battle of LA, Valiant versus Glads.
We need to build towards something, like Avast is saying. Like there needs to be some kind of like rewarding conclusion to each stage.
That was always the hype of last year was, well, we're playing this stage and now there's a LAN event. Okay, next stage. We're playing the stage, then there's a LAN event. Like the LAN events were fucking sick. Arlington was cool. Toronto was fucking wacky. Like I loved the Toronto homestand was the funnest shit.
Yeah, it was the best. It was one of the best homestands ever.
For sure. Yeah,
league, so.
like the
I
crowd
think one
was
of the biggest drawdowns was to schedule it on weekdays,
crazy.
Right?
And then the storylines too. I mean, yes. Wait, did they? I can't remember. I think so.
I believe
Johnny and I didn't get to go, so we'll just trust you on that one.
That was one of the problems. That was one of the problems. Was some of the tournaments happening on it? To be fair, it was a problem with the finals in a way as well, right? Where like it was happening on a fucking weekday rather than a weekend. That's just kind of that's a scheduling thing. But the main point is, I definitely agree with Connor. It's going to be a bit rough if there's no like a lot of homestands to kind of tie a bow in these stages, qualify, you know, fucking stage finale, whatever the fuck. Like mid-season madness is always going to be fun, but. Yeah, I want the homestands, man, because they are the funnest events, not only to like cast and shit, but to like go to and watch as a fan. It's way more engaging. Like when you're watching and you're seeing a crowd, you hear them, and the casters sound infinitely fucking different because it's like mic audio, like crowd audio bleeding in through the mic and shit. And dude, there's just nothing like it in esports. I think that was what the league did really well last year, capturing that. And yeah, it will be a little bit disappointing if there's only that single the mid-season madness.
Yeah, I think last year catches a bad rap because of the the beta and all the shit surrounding like, oh, we're playing 5 versus 5 and the game is 6 versus 6. But like the format last year was actually pretty sick.
Yeah, apart from the point system and shit like that.
Except for league points. Except for league points.
Yeah, exactly. There's good things there. And like, and also I'd be fine if there's no homestands if we just get more international land events. Like, you just need events. In fact, I'd almost prioritize having international land events over homestands, because then it's like, but you can still host them in like homestand cities, right? Because then it's like, in my personal view, the point of this league is that it's because we have a regional split, but it's not really regional because it's 2 regions technically. We now have Korea and America essentially, and the point of this league is essentially it's supposed to be a global league. We need to have international competition, and really all global esports should have a lot of global competition. But you have, so like we should probably prioritizing that in the format. And like if we're not prioritizing that, we need to have the LAN events elsewhere. But if we had to choose, like if you're gonna give me 2 homestands in both region, or I get an extra LAN event and I get to beef up midseason madness, I'd rather international LAN event. I'd rather have 3 international LAN events that are all nice and big than extra homestands, personally.
Yeah.
So
agree with that. Tournaments good. Tournaments good. Do we have any additional thoughts here on the season as a whole? I'm trying to see if there's any details that I missed out on. I mean, it was a format announcement, but there was still some like TBD information. And we got this graphic, of course, but like there still seems to be, you know, a few things missing. Stuff to be learned. Yeah.
I think it's overall fine, though. I think it's overall fine. I think Pro-Am stuff will be really interesting. I think it would be funny as hell if like O2 Blast like dominates APAC or something. Like obviously it won't happen probably because it won't happen. Their talent's been drained so significantly, like it's just not going to be occurring. Like same thing with the West. Like there's like good contenders teams, but like realistically because of the talent drain and like the 17 rule change, like no one probably is going to dominate through the Pro-Am to like do really well in the West. But like it's still great that the opportunity is there. 100%. Like it's great.
The other thing left there on the format is they had like on one of the small bullet points about like mini tournaments during the bye weeks, certain bye weeks. So
yeah,
what happens there.
Extra, little things extra like stuff. That too. That's always nice. Also, if you're an investor and you're mad that your spot's being devalued, it's like, bitch, you haven't paid fees to the league in like 4 years. Like my opinion to all investors is like, yes, I agree your spot's being devalued, but guess what? You guys haven't been paying any money. So like how are you allowed to justify that like, hey, our spot didn't maintain so much value when you're living here rent free and on top of that you've been like putting in the minimal amount of investment possible across the board. Like you can't be like my spot and then be like but also I pay no money for my spot. Like so like it's just like you can't have it both ways in my opinion as an investor. You can either like highly fight for your spot and be like, okay, I'm really putting the effort here. Like the one investor that's allowed to talk about this is like, or 2, maybe the Fuel and Defiant. Those 2, they're allowed to complain. Those guys are allowed to complain. Like maybe Glad's be like, okay, like we've put in a lot of effort for this shit. Like how dare you devalue us? If you're like, I mean, you know, if you're like the Valiant, if you're a couple other organizations and you're saying like, oh guys, if you're New York and be like, my spot, why are you guys devalue my spot? It's like, bitch, like you devalued the spot. Like you're not paying money at all. You're not putting the effort. Like so I don't think that this is like, that's not fair from an investor point of view to like get it both ways, in my opinion. Though there are some that I think have a legitimate case. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the offseason, and speaking of the LA Valiant, they're back.
They're back.
The LA Valiant are moving back.
There they are.
They tweet for the first time in 4 months. A 4-month offseason from Twitter. But the LA Valiant.
Shorter off season than the Overwatch League still, technically. If you think about it. Only 4 months.
Yeah.
Very true.
I love how the last tweet is like, our last game didn't go so well. We just lost to the Shanghai Dragons. It's the 0-3. GG's. Yeah. This game wraps up our season. Thank you for the love and support. Valiant 22, peace out. See you next year. February 8th. We are pleased to announce that the LA Valiant will be competing in the West Division for 2023 Overwatch League season.
Classic.
So, LA Valiant are back. Woo! Yeah.
They're back.
Woo!
I can't wait to see the memes. I can't wait to see the rosters.
Dude, the Toronto Defiant fucking dominated them day one. Like the quote tweet of that, and then they put competing. Like holy mother of
it God. Was good. The memes for Valiant are gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
Especially if they
are.
show up and they're just still perma ass. I'm like, oh boy, it's gonna
Yeah.
be so funny.
It's
Like
good content,
that.
man.
It's finally time because like they kind of got away with it in some respect. Like they got away with it honestly in the APAC region because not only were like people not awake to watch it in the West, but number two, like there's just less meat and scrutiny, and
There
like
you go.
there's just less people like on the Western side of things like really scrutinizing them. They can't get away with it this year.
Last season was like one of Valiant's best years post Custa because post Custa era Valiant because they actually got some wins. They started redeeming themselves slightly.
Yeah, they did.
And they had Dia, which I feel bad for that guy because now it's like he finally got his year back and now Valiant's just dipped. And what was the other thing as well? It was like, I think the team manager or Coach Kohler found out
GM,
through
their
Twitter,
GM.
the GM
Yeah.
of Valiant last year
Oh,
found out
yeah.
through Twitter that Valiant is going back to NA. He's like, oh, we're not in China anymore.
Classic Valiant move. That's my boys. Classic Valiant move right there. I love it. I think finally because we're gonna have two like absolute doofus fucking head ass teams in North America to roast. We'll have Valiant and New York. I'll have two teams that I can every day and Justice depending on what happens with them. Like because I'm always down to roast
You're just
Justice.
giving. I was gonna say you're just giving Vegas a free pass to see. I see.
The problem I have with Vegas is because I just forget about them. Like I just always forget about them. So like I always forget to roast them because I'm like, oh, this team is just like so
Yeah.
tragic. It's hard to
be
even
fair, they do be kind of trying this season with like big rebrand.
Yeah,
They
you know,
excited
I
about
mean,
it.
come on,
Same
that's
team,
some
like,
massive
they
coke.
rebranded, new year, new me kind of deal. I'm like, okay, fair. We can't like clown you too much until you need to be clowned. Like, but Valiant, yeah, if they do just if they are just turbo bad, then yeah, my god. The memes are just going to be rife.
But will they get away with paying their players this year or not? We'll have to see. That's the true
really?
mystery. Will U.S. labor laws come in play here? I don't know. We'll have to. That's my true Scooby-Doo mystery villain here. Of like, let's see who jumps in here on this side of the law. Like, I don't know. I just think that this is mad funny. I just think it's mad funny, and I'm hoping for a really just a fun season with the Valiant. Like I have no expectations.
By the way, we've heard no roster rumors about like have they started on their team? Who are they even getting? We know more about what NYXL is doing behind the scenes because it keeps bringing up headlines.
I mean, they're the most talked about roster, but
it's like of the quote unquote clown rosters, it's like we know nothing about Valiant. They got to be able to pick up somebody. Like you have to imagine that hypothetically speaking, whatever tier 2 free agents available right now that they can make a team with, they should be able to, if they do, play their cards right and do their jobs well and have something to offer, hopefully, to be able to pick up one of the top would-be Pro-Am teams. Like if you imagine who the top Pro-Am teams from the contender side are going to be, Valiant should just target one of those teams, surely, no?
yeah.
I mean, it just depends if they have the money. Because haven't they still not paid their players from 2022 as well?
No,
Didn't
yeah.
Innovation
I mean-
in his innovation like a month ago, and his retiring from Overwatch stream was like, yeah, someone got him paid, and like,
didn't it kind of come out afterwards though? I'm not in any way trying to
I don't know.
cover up or
I'm not
justify.
sure.
I think Innovation made a mistake or something as well.
He might have
It
made a
was
mistake.
like-
I'm not sure.
It was like some expenses or receipts or something. I don't know if it was related to the salary and like his entire
Yeah, I think it was some
salary.
like extra stuff on the side.
Yeah, which kind of why that segment I gave my preamble of just like we don't know anything about this because I don't know. If I'm wrong here, I don't want to
I'm just basing off the last thing I saw
but-
from it.
Yeah,
So I don't actually know if it's like 100% accurate, but it's in line with everything else I've seen with Valiant. So like it confirms my personal biases about the Valiant, and so I'm gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I just think that like either way, whatever they're gonna do, there's no way there's something gonna like. What if like here's the best opportunity? Noah Winston comes back, shows up, agilities out of retirement onto the Valiant. We rebuild Valiant 2018. They Kerrigan, guys. Grim Reality's coming back. Agility's coming back. We're getting space. The space is a free agent, right? We're getting space.
He is, yeah.
Get Verbo.
Costa.
Verbo's been minting
goes back.
NFTs,
Fuck
like
it.
Christianity NFTs. So like we
Get
can get
Scott,
Verbo.
fuck it. He ain't here to defend himself. Get Scott.
Yeah, get Scott. Like let's get him. Let's get everyone back. Let's get Kariv is a free agent technically. I think he sort of retired though, right? But like we can get Kariv. Like
I don't know if this even works. Here's my idea for the GM. Okay, sign a roster to like temporary like 10-day contracts for the Pro-Am, and then just pick up the best contender team from the Pro-Am. And then
Oh, but
just
you
ride
gotta be
them
giving
out.
them ideas like that. They're gonna
Oh
do
my
that now. That's
God.
definitely
Is that
gonna happen.
even? Well,
I don't
I thought they changed how the.
Are they-
I thought they changed how the
do
rules
that?
worked for the temporary, the temporary player, like the 30-day contracts. I thought that changed. You
I
can't do it
think
multiple
you-
times, right?
I think
You
you
only do
do
it
have to
once.
lock in. No, I'm pretty sure there's a lock-in date for your minimum
Yeah.
roster that you have to have like 5 players
Damn it.
by
You
this
can't just
date.
keep doing rolling
Yeah.
contracts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I definitely thought
So
they changed the rules
have
because
5 permanent
people were
players
doing
at
that.
some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Although I say that, and you can still bin a player and just give them a month's salary and be like, you're gone.
That's
pretty
true,
sure that's
yeah.
still a thing. So they
Yeah, you can just
they
sign them to a
sign
contract and
5
just
players,
drop
bin them all
yeah.
after the pro am and pick up the pro am team. That is still possible.
Yeah.
Me,
That's
when I
awesome.
Here's
tried
an
to cheat
idea.
the
Here's a
system.
fucking free one. Pay your players. And there you go.
Yeah.
You might have
Also, I mean, you're supposed to pay your
likable
players
fucking
too, but they didn't do
organization.
that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
How about,
like,
that? Thoughts on that?
there's a lot of things that Valiant aren't supposed to do, but have done. So really, what's to stop them? Like, seems like no one's stopped them yet.
My hot take is that this is this podcast is the lowest we'll ever be on the Valiant, because I genuinely think if they just pick up like decent contenders players, they have a chance to at least not be last in the Western region. That's my take.
Yeah. Kind of
If
true,
they
I
just
guess.
pick up
Is
decent
that-
contenders players,
Decent
they can't
contenders,
be
yeah.
that far off from like the bottom and genuinely have a chance to win some.
So you
matches
think
this year.
they? So pretty much they're competing. Essentially, they're the roster. Like currently, based off what we know, they would be competing against New York as the worst team in the league. Like based off the rumor mill, essentially.
It's
I-
better
I
than nothing,
think-
baby. It's better than
you know,
nothing.
we're not quite there yet, but I say there are probably like 2-3 franchise teams that I could see like, you know, Valiant competing with and getting wins against.
Okay, but like, but how could you see them competing against them because they don't have a roster?
No, I'm saying with the justification
they were to pick
if
up
they
a-
pick up,
okay.
you know, a decent roster with contenders players. I'm not saying
see.
anything crazy, but as long as they don't like completely fumble like their pickups, I think they still.
Honestly, they don't even have to go for full. There's enough like Al
Talent, there's real talent that out there they can get. Yeah,
free agents. There's plenty of free agents. Like you jokingly said Space. I'm like, he's still good. He actually is a free agent.
He
so-
is.
Yeah,
he's
he's
really
still
good.
super
Like
good.
good space. They have options to like get. I mean, Reiner retired actually, so never mind. I think so. Like technically, you can't get Reiner, even though he never publicly announced it. But like, I think he like said like in his
announced it
own-
via Snapchat.
via like
That's the
Snapchat or
first
something.
time I've seen a player retire via Snapchat. But there
Yeah.
it is.
So like they have options though. Like and the thing is like getting good players isn't out of their own possibility because the player salaries have been so depressed right now. Like the bargaining power is so low that like they could get good players. So it's a
Yeah.
possibility depending on what they do.
Yeah,
that's it.
Indeed, we'll see.
All I
We'll
got.
see the LA Valiant. They're gonna be fun to follow this year. Also, the
yeah.
split now, I guess, is like 14-6 in favor of NA. There seems to be some unconfirmed Reddit rumor that Dallas is gonna move region or something, but we'll see what the fuck
Yeah,
happens
what
with
the
that.
fuck?
So
I can't wait
that
for
would be-
the battle
that
for
would be
Texas to happen in
hilarious.
Korea. That'll be my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
that
Battle
would
for
be
Texas happening in Korea.
Anyway, that's the Reddit rumor, so we're not gonna spend any time with that. We'll see what happens. It's 14-6 right now. Wait, where are we going next? Oh my God! Here we go, Avast. This is just for you. This is
it
just
time?
It's time.
Time?
Get on your
It's time.
platform.
I'm bringing up
box out.
the Twitter as we speak. It's confirmed. Yaki
What do you mean it's confirmed?
is
Oh.
moving
Ah.
to the LA Gladiators. I mean, what a pickup this is. Do you feel rewarded, Avast, after preaching the Yaki truth for the entirety of last year?
I mean, I can't really feel
And arguing
rewarded
for
anyway
him.
because I've already. I don't.
Dirty.
Why would
Why
I
did
feel
it say dirty on the video? What?
Because someone said dirty. Can we
'Cause
talk
he is
about the video
dirty.
for 20 seconds? You know what's really funny about this video? All these clips are 2022 and prior. Because or 2021
new-
and prior.
yeah,
even.
because,
good
you know.
God, they've just
Yeah.
not had good games at all. Like they had to pick. That's the funniest thing about these pickups sometimes when they do put out videos is that players who have had a really rough 1 or 2 years, every clip is old. Like Jesus, it's kind
I
of
mean, like
funny. It's
you
kinda
literally
sad in
had
some
to
respects,
black
but-
out the whole New York thing.
Yeah,
for the Yaki, right?
It sucks. It really sucks, but it do be like that.
Ironically, he had a great game against the Gladiators. So
Yeah, like he's had
Yeah,
like the thing is
sure,
he still
yeah.
had good individual performances. It's just the problem is his team was so unbelievably
Shit.
ass that like
Yeah.
it's so hard to like have anything
Yeah.
show up. So
There's
I
no-
don't even know so I feel rewarded because I like it didn't last year didn't change my opinions of Yaki. Yaki was just on one of the worst teams ever to be concepted. So like
Still
it's
super
just-
good.
Like he was just good.
It did reinforce one opinion I've already had though, which is he might actually just be the most unlucky player in the world.
Yeah,
and that make him, if Glads don't have a good year, and does he just carry like this aura around him? Like wherever he goes, he just loses. I don't know.
I mean, imagine if he goes to Glads and Glads just falls apart, and like it's just like that would be insane.
Well,
but this is my last year. I'll be
shoes. So I mean,
they did, but they still have good players, right? And like this will be the last year I'm hoisting the Yaki torch without him putting up a monster performance, essentially. Like, because like I think he's had very monstrous performances so far up until last year, and I'm like, okay, like very bad year, like whatever. I'm still going in next year being like Yaki's full on big, like he's the guy. But if he has a middling year next year, then I will back off the hype train a bit, depending on what the situation of the Glads are. But like,
you know what? The greatest, the most unlucky thing that could happen to Yaki now, aside from the Glads just tanking out, is he gets on the roster and Glads is actually a decent team, but because he's basically playing the same role as Kivster, he just gets benched for Kivster. And
he just gets benched. Yeah, that's the thing.
Plays.
He could just not play because of his overlap of the hero pool with Kevster. But like the problem is like it seems hard to believe because he's not a hard hit scan player necessarily. So like it could be if they pick up a hard hit scan player that he might not play because Sojourn is still so powerful.
I'm sure he'll play when Reaper's meta again. And Kev's like, I don't want to touch that. I just put Yaki on the Reaper.
Yeah, I just find it almost impossible that Yaki will not play at some point for this team in certain metas, just because like eventually there will be a meta where Yaki will play just by like a elimination of like heroes, like because as long as balance, especially because of the stages coinciding with balance patches, unless every balance patch is like once the cloak of invisibility remains on Sojourn, like there's just no way that would occur.
You need to build your team around 2 flex DPSs because you might get a double flex DPS meta like a Tracer Genji type deal.
Yeah.
Or Tracer Echo, which we've had in the past. So like, yeah, I mean,
this was probably the first time in history I saw
good.
people complain though that you got 2 insanely flexible good players. Like there was the first time ever in history where I was people like, why would they get Yaki? Kevster plays all of it. Why would we want another super flex player? This doesn't make any sense. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why would you not want the super flex player?
The same people would probably be okay with if you said, oh, we'll just clone Kevster. Like, oh, that's a great idea. Do that.
They're like, that's a great idea. Wait, Kevster 1 and Kevster 2, they have the same heroes. Why would you clone Kevster? This doesn't make any sense. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? This isn't even fun. Like, if Glads had picked up like Proper, who's another hyperflex, no one would have been like, oh, I can't believe you guys picked up Proper. He has the same hero pool. It's like, what the, like, of course you would want a hyperflex. Like, it's such a nonsense argument I saw being posted of like, why would they get Yaki? He's the same hero pool. I'm like, well, of course. Like, what are you? It blew my mind. It literally blew my mind. It's the first time I've ever seen that, and it's because people want to hate on Yaki because I called Yaki really good. That's the reason. That is it. I am determined. I'm almost certain that is what's happening. People just want to find a reason to be mad at him because to make me look stupid. And guess what? You don't need Yaki to make me look stupid. I can look stupid all on my own without Yaki being good. Okay? Like you don't need that. Okay? You're just being spiteful, everyone. You're being spiteful.
I think this is good. This is a fucking sick team now. I think this is really good. Yaki being
able to hit
play,
scan.
like, long range hit. Well, I mean, Yaki can play like Ashe and shit like that too. Like I wouldn't put it past him to pick up Soj. Although I think Soj.
The rumor was Kai. The rumor was that Kai would also round out this roster.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense because you want like there's gonna be like a sniper meta or like Widow's gonna be viable at least one time.
You do need a hit scan specialist to round out the team, I think.
So like having Kai as like an Ashe / Soj / Widow. Although his Soj wasn't like crazy, it was okay, but like it wasn't like insane like we saw a lot of other players be. Having Yaki and Kevster there as well to like round out, yeah, it's ridiculous. I think that's super good. I think a lot of it is recency bias as well, Connor, where it's like, well, Yaki fucking sucks because New York sucks.
Yeah, because New York was one of the worst teams ever created.
New York fucking blows. Yaki sucks. Everybody on the team sucks. Like, no, Yaki's still like a sick player. He has been for a long time. He's just been in weird situations. Even like the Mayhem time when he was on Mayhem, and then he was like one of the only good performing players. They had a really good start, and then it was like, oh shit, Yaki's actually one that's doing well, and like everybody else is kind of blowing. So yeah, I don't really understand the weirdness towards Yaki right now being picked up as well as Kevster. I think it's sick. He, like I said, he can also pick fucking Ashe. Like, I don't think it's too much of an issue. If they didn't pick up a long range hit scan, I wouldn't be like, this seems fucking like it's whatever. Like I think honestly,
like either him or Kevster could both play the hit scan. Like literally either of them.
Exactly. I would not be pissed if they didn't pick up another DPS. They probably will in the end because having a lot of flexibility in DPS is always quite good. You can say that for every role, but I think DPS having a very, very large hero pool is always nice to have 3 on the team at least. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too mad if they didn't. So, still good. Yaki's a good player still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the roster now is for audio listeners especially. Dante is the tank for the LA Gladiators. For damage for now, they have Kevster and Yaki, and they have Funny Astro and Lastro.
Fucking
back
hell,
line.
bro.
The funny Lastro combo.
Funny Astro,
Lastro.
That is
Lastro.
going to be infinitely hard to cast.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
People have been asking because Prophet is now a free agent. That Prophet were to team up with Prophet on Soul Dynasty, so you'd have Prophet and Prophet. That'd be a fun caster scenario.
I don't even, they'd have to ask him to change their name, right? That's like, sure.
Prophet and Prophet.
Yeah.
That'd be weird. But yeah, I mean, credit to the LA Gladiators because they understand the mission. Okay, you might try to win the Overwatch League Championship easier, but they also just pick up like fan favorite players that are really good at the game. Like the perfect versions of that all the time. So, and I don't think that.
Well, I mean, they also drop fan favorite players.
True,
but you know,
in
fair
space.
Yeah.
Well, not just space. Also, I mean, we have
Reiner as
Shoe,
well.
Skewed. You know,
Shoe,
like all
yeah.
those Reiner. Even though Reiner technically like more so maybe retirement, but like plenty of players that also.
I don't think they dropped Shoe, but like Houston they're giving out some bags. You know what I'm saying?
They made a business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Sure.
it was
But
a
he's still
business.
gone from the team.
Business.
It was business. Yeah.
All for business.
Just business.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to see how they round out their team because they probably need one more player. By the way, I don't know what the hell we're doing with the team previews this year. Are we gonna do like team previews before the Pro-Am in a month? Like half the league hasn't announced their roster, so I'm just browsing this Liquipedia
Surely
page as we speak.
by we get to like
What's the deadline?
halfway.
I don't know. So
If we're
team.
like halfway there, it has to be. We had to have heard the roster's been like another couple weeks. We have to hear at least the majority of the rosters. I'm surely.
Yeah, surely.
So
There's
out of
no
this-
way we won't at least get the majority.
Out of the
them.
6 APAC teams, none of them have more than 2 players. The Western teams, you have Atlanta as a roster, Boston has a roster, Dallas Fuel has a roster, Florida has a roster, Houston have 4 players, London has 4 players, Gladiators has 5 players, Valiant doesn't have a team, New York are just rumored, Shock has a team, Toronto has a team, Vancouver has a team. Okay, so I mean, fair enough, but there's like 5 teams that maybe don't have a roster in, you know, the Western, and the APAC region doesn't have any teams. So we have about like 9 or 10 teams finalized for this.
Yeah,
upcoming
but
year,
there's
so-
still like several more weeks until like everything gets kicked off. So like I still think by the time I think by in like when would we want to like theoretically if we start doing team previews would be what like 4 to 5 weeks from now, maybe a little more than that.
No, I'd probably say within like 3 weeks, maybe do like 3 per week or something. But I don't know.
Yeah,
if
because also
if we start
doing all the teams we know first, that gives us a little bit of extra time. So like I feel like by that point, like surely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'll be good, and we'll probably do some team previews during the actual like main episodes rather than like spread them out 3 per week or something. We'll figure that out. But yeah, I mean it's coming up. So if you've been waiting for the 2023 team previews, they will be coming out at some point. So we still have a month till the Pro-Am and 2 months till the actual season start. So talking about roster moves, we want to move away from Yaki and the LA Gladiators and actually just move into the New York Excelsior rumors for a little bit here because it seems to be all over the place.
I want to shit on them too. I have to pee though.
Okay.
Everyone else gets to go first.
Yeah, you'll get the fair enough here. So New York Excelsior. I don't know how to like summarize what's going on with the New York Excelsior. So
There are too many rumors.
Yeah, Halo of Thoughts, he tried to sum it up as best he could in this tweet here, where he tweets out, let's clear up some of the NYXL confusion. Confirmed to Halo, and still rumored, not official, Amira's assistant coach fits as damage player for New York Excelsior. Contract discussions, but not confirmed to Halo. Changoon as head coach, Shockwave as DPS, and Psycho as DPS. And expected on their main roster or academy / calling all heroes is Haley. He used to be on the Boston Uprising, I believe. Did I get that right?
Who ironically also is called used to be called Halo.
Yeah, Halo reporting on Halo. Formerly Halo. Now Haley. I mean, a DPS line of Fitz, Shockwave, and Psycho with Changoon as head coach.
I do not believe
coach.
any of this. I'm just gonna say it. There's
I
just
think
no
this is
fucking
hilarious.
Let's for when
way.
Jack's wrong. Flip
There's
it when
no
in a week
fucking
from
way.
now Fitz gets announced.
Bro, like, what the fuck? Because also, what happened to the what happened to the marginalized roster thing? Wasn't that also like confirmed the other week, or like someone tweeted like, oh, they're still going ahead with it? Was that Halo as well?
They're not. No. That was one of the female players, but no, it was not. They weren't going ahead with it. It was like they were still exploring options for like maybe including one player, several players, maybe looking at doing academy or a Call of the Heroes kind of roster.
None of this can be believed. I'm just saying it. None of it can be believed. I don't know what the fuck is going on, because right now, it honestly also feels like a Twitter war between fucking Leak boys. It feels like fucking Leak Mafia and then Halo. At this point, Leak Mafia's been right about a few things. It feels like Halo's right about maybe 1% of the time. Like, dude, I don't trust anything on Twitter. There's some things, but like, I swear to God, half this fucking off season has just been fucking shotgunning or like throwing 50 darts at a dartboard. Oh, wow, I got one thing right. Like, what? I do not believe any of this shit at this point. Fitz going to NYXL, like, sure, if Changun is going there as well, they build like a Korean team. But then, like I said, the marginalized thing was also like still on the cards, and maybe that's happening too. And obviously, everybody fucking hates that. So maybe they've now receded that and then gone with the idea of Fitz and Changun. I don't know, bro. I just don't believe any of this shit until I see something on paper, because there has been so much bullshit around this team.
I mean,
yeah.
Fitz, Shockwave, Psycho, still a decent DPS line if it's actually true and gets confirmed compared to other damage lines in the league.
Yeah,
I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind if Fitz is on this team. I'm not gonna lie. Fitz, and also people have been, there's been a lot of Fitz slander as well out there. I've been seeing when people suddenly Fitz. Oh yeah, I've been seeing some Fitz slander. No, granted, a lot of it's Zoomer humor of like, it's like stuff like Hydron clears your fraud Fitz in the superior NA region, right? So like obviously it's tough to tell where the irony begins and ends at times, but Fitz is really good.
Yeah.
If he's on New York, I'm gonna be so sad. Now, if New York suddenly pulls out some crazy reverse Uno cards, like, oh, Changun's our head coach, we have Fitz, we have Shockwave, Psycho, and like also we have like some like pretty other like good players. Like we actually have like a relatively competent roster. I'm like, okay, like that's not the end of the world. But if it's like the other rumored roster, which it's like Fitz with like Moving Fish 7 and Cuffa and like Haley, like all these like it's just this random ass assortment of like players, I'm gonna be like, what the hell is like this is look actually the Godfather, look how they massacred my boy. Like I can't believe that would occur. So
Cuffa said he's not on the team.
Yeah, but also players say they're on teams all the time, right? Like, you never really know who is or isn't on a team. Like obviously, like fucking when Fisher was like, I would never retire, and then retired. Like, like it's just like, there's all sorts of shit that's like, you never know exactly what's happening until it all comes out officially per se. So I think for New York, I'm priming it up. If New York releases the hodgepodge medley roster that's still filled with a couple of marginalized gender players that, they essentially were like, I'm just looking for my shot. Like, then I'm gonna be like, and they have Fitz on that roster and Shockwave and stuff. I'm like, holy fuck! Like New York, you're the worst. You were the worst. You were the worst ever. You were just the worst. Like you and Valiant should be locked in eternal combat and the gulag of turbo shit for eons. But like I don't know. I just think we'll see. I don't know. They could make a good roster.
What's crazy is that in 2018, those are two of the best teams.
Yeah.
How the table?
It is crazy. It is crazy.
Dude, the fucking despair from New York fans. It even started like a year or two ago where they're just like, how the fuck did we go from Jonak MVP to literally like what we had last year? And just like the despair associated with that franchise. Man, I feel for Excelsior fans because they had a big fan base in 2018 and it's just trickled. It's just like a fucking crypto coin, just like slowly going down 99%. They're just like the fan base is just like, we're out. We can't hold on to this.
They have a cool brand too. They like had a cool aesthetic. They had this kind of like underground fucking, that we were talking about it earlier, but like, the subway trains and shit like that. Like they're in general, their graphics and stuff like that have also been like kind of neat. And I love the brand of NYXL. And when we did the homestand in New York, there was a lot of like there's small activations and New York being there. I don't know, man. They just had such a cool brand. They had cool fucking players. And then we end up with this fucking bullshit. I'm like,
hey, at least their jersey this year is good.
Go wrong. I mean, sure, yeah, fine, whatever. But dude, if it is this hodgepodge, I'm definitely with Connor. Like, what the fuck have you done? Like, go one way or the other at the end of the day. I just do not believe any of these rumors right now. It's just so hard to fucking tell what's going on with this team. And they also, I bet, behind closed doors, they don't fucking know what's going on either, it feels like. So I'm withholding judgment until we actually see the full roster, or at least half of it, or, you know, maybe a couple players picked up.
I want a tell-all documentary about New York and Valiant. Like, I literally want to see like a found footage documentary with the player and like staff interviews of like what happened on both these teams.
Lit.
I think they would go insane. That would be some of the most deranged content we've ever seen in esports. Like, just seeing the decisions that happened in back rooms, like all the Valiant players huddled for warmth last year. There's no heating in the apartment. They're all sharing one cup of ramen. Like, I just want to see like what, like those two teams in particular. If we did like the what was it? Was it Team Liquid did like Breaking Point ages ago with Dardoch and them in the league? Yeah. Like, if we did that with Valiant in New York, by the way.
Best documentary.
Yeah, it's the best. It's probably one of the best esports, if not the best esports documentary ever made. It would go so hard. It would go so insanely hard to see what transpired in those back rooms for those organizations. Just the various amounts of insanity that occurred. But we'll wait and see. I'm reserving my judgment because right now I'm like, I am prepared to unleash my fury on New York at any point. But I don't know where they're standing because then they're like, oh, free agent stuff. Fury free agent? Isn't Fury a free agent?
Yeah,
right?
unleash Fury on this team. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, if they sign Fury, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, if they, I'd be fine with that. If
they sign Fury, Fitz, Changoon as head coach, you're like, okay, that's actually kind of sick. Like, we'll see how the rest of the team ends up turning out because Fitz is still exceptionally good as a player. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Or if they go the other way and they still like hard push the marginalized gender roster, it's like,
I want them to at least get a meme player, not Fitz. Like, get a meme player. Put like Crystal on this roster. Put like Crystal on this roster. Like, then like I'd be like, okay, God. Then we have like the most meme team ever. But like bring out Crystal, like just like make the true meme. Don't put Fitz on this roster. I beg of you. I'm fucking begging of you. Changoon is the perfect coach for this team. If he is actually the coach, literally the perfect coaching choice if they're choosing to build the most cursed thing of all time.
You know, I find it really interesting that Fitz's seems like his behind the scenes value. I don't know if it doesn't look very high because is New York his best option? I have to imagine if he had better options, he would have gone to those options instead. So is Fitz kind of just assuming he's on the team? Is he kind of just settling for this because it's all he has? It just, what does that say? Like, did no one else want him? What's going on there? It seems really interesting.
New York's put him in the Supermax. They're giving him the 3+1 Supermax Overwatch. He's getting the Carpe deal. He's getting the Carpe Gouche deal.
Honestly, that's not a bad retirement package. So that's a 3-year severance deal. I'll take that.
Yeah. I think that's a bold move from Fitz. We'll have to see how that comes out.
Look, this team has just made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and like the off season has just not been kind to them at all. Like, not that people should be kind to them.
And I will not be kinder. I'll be no kinder than the off season.
No one is going to be kind to this team because of the press fucking that they've put out there. Everybody fucking hates that shit, and they still try and go along with it. Like, I don't know. It's pissing me off. This shit's pissing me off, bro. Yeah, can we move on? Fuck this team. At this point, it's so ridiculous how, like, even Valiant. I want the documentaries, Connor. We need the documentaries. We are going to make these documentaries. NYXL and the Valiant. We're gonna pull back the fucking curtain.
We're gonna have to travel to China to get some of these player interviews. But
oh man, I mean, it would be just astounding what comes.
It would be the greatest piece of investigative journalism we've ever seen.
It's just frustrating from like a league standpoint too, or like a casting standpoint as well, where you just want every team to be like kind of competitive, and how the LA Valiant have been. And obviously, Avril, you were saying a bit earlier, LA Valiant, they've had one of their better years recently. Yeah. When the roster was first kind of incepted, when they did end up moving to China, that was a bad disaster. Like,
that was bad.
God, they took like 2 maps, and it's just frustrating, man. Even from a viewer's
perspective, I figured out. I understand what happened. The shit Valiant always follow you. So you were in APAC in their China year. And now they come back.
Maybe they're absolute
and you weren't in APAC last year, but that's when they were actually I won't use the word good, but they were at least competitive.
Sure.
So,
But like
just-
that's the problem, right? Like viewers want that shit ideally to be competitive as like a commentator and as like a producer and shit like that. The league obviously wants them to be competitive somewhat. If they're kind of a bad team but they still put up a decent fight, it's like okay, great. Like last year, Valiant. But like
I will say-
NYXL, if they do end up bombing this year, it's just going to be frustrating all around.
one of my favorite games from last year was LA Valiant's first win to break their loss streak, and also Dia's, I guess, first official win. And seeing that that meme picture of him that had the freeze frame, which was unintentional, by the way. It was just bad internet, and his webcam froze on that face with a big smile. That was one of the truly like a super awesome moment happening in the league last year. I do remember that quite well. Anyway,
Anyway,
It is.
The rest of Valiant,
it was a good moment. I mean, it makes turbo shit teams make for very fun moments. They make for extremely fun moments. Like if we get a toilet bowl redux of like we get Valiant versus New York this year, we're gonna have like Crystal on the DPS line, and like Shangoon will sub in because their support players like have quit the team or something. Like I think that like if we have Valiant and that competing, and we get a toilet bowl 2.0, it's been a long time. Like the original toilet bowl was one of the greatest Overwatch League moments in history. Like it was literally one of the greatest events ever to occur. It's still people were making references to it in Valorant, like there because so many Overwatch League fans. Like that watch Overwatch League or used to watch Overwatch League now watch Valorant. Like people were like, there was a game happening today between a now Chinese team called FPX and a French team called Carmine Corps, and people were like speculating this is going to be like the toilet bowl, the first toilet bowl of the VCT season.
Come on.
And so people were referencing like that the original toilet bowl, like linking to my VOD of like the toilet bowl of like this is it, like this is the moment, like that's such an iconic moment in esports history is the Houston Boston toilet bowl. If we got a redo of it, I think
when Valorant fans have to look at Overwatch history to get all the context. That's the backstory, you know.
All
watch the prequel movie first.
All right.
Just be competitive, please. Just be competitive. Come on, New York.
We had some breaking news during the podcast, but it's not really something to go into too much. But essentially, they announced the committees for some of the European teams in the groups officially.
Sick.
So they've set up team pages for all of the teams, and you know it's the usual suspects. It's cool to see, for example, Team France. They always go hard, so they got Getamaze as their head coach, and Casaurus is coaching for the Netherlands. Nuki is involved with the German team this year. So you know, there's nothing too much to like discuss and go in on. But I did notice one thing here. For Team Sweden, you know, naturally I had to go visit this page. So this is the page, you know, it says open trials, you can sign up, and like these are supposed to be the players, I suppose, with the headshots. And then down here it says the committee, and it's a social lead, general manager, coach.
How are you, Johnny?
Is Kevster the GM of Team Sweden?
Is that not it? That can't.
No, his name is Kevin Persson. Kevster's name is Kevin Persson.
No, there has to be. Is that a common Swedish name though? Is that a common Swedish name?
No way.
Yeah, but is there other? Surely is that not? Is it?
But there's
it's
no
common,
way
right?
there are two Kevin Passion in Overwatch.
In Overwatch.
Okay, is the GM allowed to play in the World Cup?
No, he's just he's gonna show up in a Swedish suit, and that's it.
So if so here's the question:
suit, by the way,
if Kevster is the GM and not, let's say theoretically this is the case, if Kevster is the GM of Sweden, does Sweden have any chance if he can't play? I don't think there's any chance they have. I think they probably just
The
lose.
Swedes are in the league right now. Kevster and is there any other
Sparker.
Sparker.
Yeah, Sparker, who's really good, but like I think
Dana Diaz, your third DPS, and Dulcich maybe.
I think if they don't have Kevster though, this is severely the Kevster going to the back office position in Team Sweden has severely hurt their chances.
Yeah, that's not great.
I was just like,
it's the best meme ever.
Team UK go crazy though.
I would love to see Kevster in a suit jacket, suited up for his general manager business.
You know whose fault this is? This is because Johnny turned down the GM position. He was like, I just got to go to Kevster then.
That's true, actually. Yeah, that's
Next
true.
best choice is Kevster.
That's true. I did not sign up for the committee. I
who's on
respect.
Team USA?
Oh, it's just the European teams that are announced.
I don't think it's been announced. No, they haven't announced.
Hopefully, Aero comes back.
Yeah.
Team Sweden's Overwatch Twitter says
Team UK
different.
has Christopher and Tasmo for
Christopher Tasmo, and then the social lead for Vegas, who actually I think she's really good. like T is her name or something.
T,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like I actually think despite Vegas is very forgettable, but I do think they actually have like a decent like graphics and
The graphics and stuff have been really
which is
good.
pretty much exclusively T, I think. So like actually I think Team UK is like a pretty nice staff lineup. So
I like that.
with Tasmo and Christian.
Well, as you'd have it, the website and the Team Sweden Twitter says different information. So according to this,
okay.
introducing Team Sweden's Overwatch World Cup committee, and it's my G as your general manager, almost Panda as team coach.
But what if one of those are does it put their full name, their official name though? Because it only has their tags. So what if one of them is named Kevin Pearson or whatever?
There you go. There's still
I told you. See, it's not. Yeah, see, there we go.
Okay.
See,
There's still
right there.
Passion. Oh my
What are the
God.
chances?
That's
Two Kevin
hilarious.
Persons
That
in
is
Overwatch.
lit, bro.
What are the chances?
That's fucking
I was about to say
incredible.
there was like because like that is simply the most bizarre thing Kevster was like the GM of Team Sweden. That would be the most bizarre.
I
thing.
wanted it so badly to be true. I wanted to see
That
it.
would be ridiculous.
Because it was misleading because there was no photos. There was no photos. It was just like, oh, it's Kevin Passion. I was like, okay, all right. I guess that's Kevster then. But no, there's two Kevin Passion.
Wow.
That's amazing.
What a time,
Wow.
huh?
Wow. Well, you know, Maji's quite experienced actually. You know, as former manager for Team Sweden and Morning Stars as well, who used to play in Contenders, of course.
Oh,
so,
Morning Stars. Wow.
You know, yeah. So, yeah.
What a team.
Yeah, Team Sweden committee going hard this year. I'll cheer you guys on. But
They still have a chance now. Kevster can still play.
Yeah,
There's still a
Kevster can
chance for
still
Team
play.
Sweden.
Although they have to make a meme out of that. Kevster in a suit jacket. That would be funny. Yeah. They got look at their Twitter game. They got memes and everything.
What does it say?
Is that a Swedish Pepe?
Yeah.
What does it say, Johnny?
This is Grudan Boll. You don't know who Grudan Boll is?
No, I don't know who that is. No. I'm lacking the information.
I'm lacking the Swedish information.
You need to step up your Swedish meme game. Frog your ball.
Clearly. Okay, never seen this frog. Swedish Pepe, then, yeah.
The Swedish Pepe.
Swedish Pepe.
Why did all the Scandinavian countries come up with their own individual Pepe? Like Finland has like the walrus one too. Like
This one's from
I've never seen that.
1987, bro.
like why did every Scandinavian country independently come up with a different Pepe? Like why does Norway and Denmark have one? Like what's going on over there? Why are you all Pepe pilled so much?
There's a 1956 movie
Let's watch
from
it.
Swedish Pepe. Yeah, let's watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Swedish meme game. Grudan Boll.
It's probably out of copyright, right? We're allowed to watch it. If not, we can just go to Kick. We can just go to Kick and next to Aiden Ross.
yeah,
who,
dude.
we can just go to Kick and do it on
100K
there.
viewers on NFL. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
How
just
did you do
literally
that?
co-streaming the
Just
Super Bowl.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh shit!
That was ridiculous shit.
All right. Oh yeah. So essentially, we should move on. But you know the frog that says like it's Wednesday, my dudes. You know what I mean? Yeah. This just says it's Friday, my friends, or something like that. So that's the Swedish memes. It's Friday, my friends.
Epic.
Okay.
Epic.
I need
Friday,
to
my
know if
friends.
Norway and Denmark have their own Pepes now. I need to
Here's my
know.
friends.
Danish. I don't know.
Danish Pepe.
Yeah.
Or like
I
not
bet
necessarily.
they-
It's not necessarily a Pepe per se for the Finland one. It's because it's like not a frog, but like it's like a meme creature, a creature that is memed all the time. They're meme creature.
All right, let's move on to the last topic of our podcast here today. So earlier today, it seemed like when I woke up anyway, the jerseys were leaked for some of the teams this upcoming season in 2023. I don't know if it's official, but it seems very much like it is official indeed. So what I did this morning, I made a tier maker. And we're going to
Yay.
make tiers and rank teams. Wow, you sound enthusiastic, Avril. I'm glad to have you on here to rate these jerseys. But actually, no, not actually. I don't have anything to say. Let's do it. So, you know, we got this tier maker, but also, you know, we got all these screenshots as well. You can take a further look at the jerseys and we'll judge them one by one. So, yeah, let's kick things off with the charge. Unless you guys
What
have
are the
any
ranks?
further.
How many
Real
ranks?
quick.
How many ranks do we have? S, A, B, C, D, F. Oh my God, it's a lot of
Yeah,
ranks.
we could have removed one, but I mean, I could have removed D. I don't delete row. Yeah, sure. Because I want F in there. We need to have F in there somehow.
Okay, we already know F. We already know F. Soul.
Wait, hold on.
Soul.
Anyone?
Okay,
Yeah.
so we gotta take a look at the jerseys. So I think we'll take it one by one. Okay, Avast,
Okay.
we'll
I
get
got a
to
question
Seoul.
for Guangzhou. That city in the bottom, if we look at Guangzhou, is that the Guangzhou Economic and Technological Development Zone that keeps getting memed?
It must be.
We can
It
finally
must be,
see
right?
it. That's what it looks like.
Johnny,
Glory to
would
the
you mind-
Guangzhou
would you
Economic
mind linking
Technological
the
Development
tier
Zone.
maker, because the feed obviously on our end just goes a bit wacky.
What? You can't see this jersey.
And it's very
Also, does this
big
include
players.
the Boston or Justice jerseys in this?
I think so.
Okay.
I hope so. All right.
Because like
Thank
Boston and
you.
Justice also
Appreciate you,
fully
Johnny.
released their jerseys, so they've
All right.
Yeah,
unveiled
they
them.
released them the other day, eh?
Yeah.
Have the back
Today.
of the jersey. I do not have a tier maker with the back and the forward. I am working
No,
on very
you don't have
limited
Boston.
information.
You don't have
This is a
Boston
bit
here.
scuffed, okay? I did not put the extreme amount of effort that maybe this segment deserves, but
That's fine.
all right.
You have time to add in the Boston Washington jerseys, or is it too late?
All right, fuck it. I could do that. I'm going to add in the Boston. Wait, I unlinked my Twitter account from the tier maker, so I gotta redo all that shit.
Bro,
I actually need to
you
figure
don't
out
even
what
have the
this
shock jersey. The shock jersey is one of the best ones.
Okay.
Not my producer.
God.
Not my producer. Let's see here. I actually don't even remember what the Justice one.
This
Well,
is
is there
missing
a
the
li-
Houston jersey as well.
Yeah, is there a list like out there that I can just see?
There's a thread on Reddit that has a bunch
there's
of
a
them.
Reddit? Okay, let me have a look.
I gotta bring. Well, the thread on Reddit only has the leaked ones. It doesn't
Exactly.
have all of them.
Ah,
Johnny just went to that one thread.
I just went to the one thread.
I'm gonna go find.
I can get you the Houston one's officially on the website now.
On the
I'll get you that
website.
one.
Is it on their Twitter?
Jersey. Top and bottom
Oh,
text.
yeah, I'll look at you.
So who's officially?
So
Oh, Shock.
You
Also.
can get Shock, Washington, Boston, and Outlaws there. So those are easy. You can get those ones. The
Just-
images, I mean,
Yeah,
for those right there. Well,
Ooh, yo, I haven't seen the Infernal one. That goes kind of crazy.
Yeah, the Infernal. I actually like the Infernal one.
Yeah, so do I.
Wow, the Houston one is pretty
I like that.
nice.
Yeah.
I actually,
I think so,
look,
too.
We've been bagging on Valiant, but like the Valiant shows.
No, Valiant's one's not bad either.
We've
Yeah.
been bagging on New York as well. New York one goes.
No, but New York has their problem has literally never been their branding. Their problem, aside from the fact that
Yeah,
they couldn't decide
obviously.
between
Branding's
Anbox or
always
Nex
been
or
tough.
Nixel or like like they're overarching branding, but like their actual
always
graphic
been good.
design and such has always been really
Yeah.
good.
Sorry, audio
Some of
listeners. I'm
these
gonna
are-
make some sound.
dude, some of these are nice. Some of these are actually nice.
All right. I
And
got
then
the
some of them are
Houston
like-
one.
is that all? Like, is there more?
Yeah, the Spitfire leaves a lot to be desired, but
Well, Houston has like the Vince. They have like the gamer Vince on the Houston jersey. I don't know if you guys
the
have seen that
Is there as well? Oh my god.
Yeah,
this has
Justice
most of them.
released theirs as well. Yeah,
Wow.
Justice's is
Am
the
I,
most
am I losing touch?
jersey like. Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Wow. I'm sorry. But this is
I mean,
different
it's
though.
hard
Some
to
of these
keep
are
them.
different.
What do you mean?
Isn't the Soul one is different? This is like last year's Soul.
No, okay,
No,
they've
you're-
only.
the-
it says 2023. There's only 5 officially on the shop website.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It says
see.
2023.
Like it's only been Shock, Houston, Justice, Boston, and one more that have actually
So what-
officially released.
So what
All
this
the-
means
all the
is
Reddit
Outlaws
comments-
just
Oh,
threw
sorry, sorry.
their jersey on the shop and just didn't announce on socials at all.
No, Outlaws did. They did announce.
They?
it. Yeah, they made an announcement tweet for it and they got roasted. People hated it.
Really?
Hey, really?
Who?
Yes, Outlaws.
I mean, let me look at
What's bad about the Outlaws one? What?
Yeah, I mean, once again, so this is a wider discussion about jerseys before we get into this. I personally believe that the jersey design conversation in esports is one of the hardest because the thing is, jerseys are dumb to begin with. Like, they're just dumb. And secondly, like,
Can you
they're-
elaborate on that? Why
well,
not?
because like think about like all the people, like how many people do you know that we're like people wear sports jerseys because it's like insanely popular, but even then the amount of sports fans really don't wear jerseys that often because they're not like a casual wear thing. Jerseys aren't really like a casual wear thing, which is why esports I think is kind of shifted away from the jersey look to like more of like a streetwear casual look.
Yeah.
Just like overall clothing style. So
Kinda-
jerseys are already hard to like get right, and then also clothing taste is so subjective anyways that like you can produce something that's like, oh, this is like, some people are like, oh, this is great, other people are like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Like that's why there's like 80 kajillion clothing brands, because everyone has very different tastes. So like when you see backlash on jerseys, people are like, wow, this sucks. Like, I'll see stuff where, like, I remember, like, I'm not gonna say. So I'll say I have seen the Mayhem jerseys. I can't obviously show them what they are, but I've seen the new Mayhem jerseys, and I've had people like be like, "Wow, this is really good." And other people be like, "This is trash." Like, it's just like it's all like
It's all subjective,
jersey shit is also
noticed,
it's so subjective.
I noticed you
So
added
hard
a
to do.
plural there. Is there more than one jersey?
Yeah, there's the official Avast collab jersey that's coming out. And on the front of it, there's going to be a mouse along with some of my favorite
So you're
quotes
telling me
that I've said.
You're telling me some of the players at various points may be forced to wear an Avast collab jersey with a mouse.
Yeah.
in the
Also,
official
they have to
Overwatch League
pay for
game.
it themselves because the org won't pay for. So, like, if
Okay,
they
slow
want the
down there,
jersey,
Valiant, slow down.
I'm making them pay for my jersey. That's my own rule that I'm enforcing. That
All
like
right.
the players have to buy the jerseys from me.
All right,
No.
so I've set it up. I think how many jerseys?
Yay.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You were missing, I think, 5 jerseys.
We have 19 in total then.
Which
Wow, math
team
is
is
hard.
missing? Which team? 19. So what team are we missing then?
Yeah, I got 19 here. God dang.
What team is missing?
Dude.
You don't have Rain.
Chengdu. I don't think I have a Chengdu
You don't.
in here.
Oh, you don't have Chengdu. You do have Rain. My bad. You don't have Chengdu. Chengdu is the only one that hasn't been leaked or announced at all.
Okay.
And they said they were
Chengdu
gonna
are under
change up some
lock and
stuff, so,
key.
yeah.
They're under lock and key. If they,
Oh, that
they'll
is a
never-
team that truly is a mystery this year because they are on a budget and they're a Chinese team.
They hyped it up though. They said they were gonna change up the colors. Didn't like the design person for Chengdu come out and chat about it? But yeah,
Did they?
yeah, there was on the Reddit. You know, I get all my information. I get all my facts from Reddit. And there was.
I
a
remember
tweet there.
Pre came out and said he was going to change the colors for Boston, and he did. I didn't hear anything about
so-
Chengdu.
No, I don't mean the official team colors, but for the jersey at least, that the jersey will be like a
Okay.
bit altered. So we'll
Interesting.
see what happens with that.
It's just panda colors, black and white.
yeah, I mean,
from people who
who
like
knows?
it.
Who knows? We'll see what happens. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into it. I think I have all the images here now. So we got 19 here now. So just missing Chengdu. Let's kick it off one by one. We got 19 jerseys to go through, so let's not spend forever here on this. But kicking off with the charge then. We got a white. We got the signature, the navy, and like the teal lightning, and with the city down here. What do we think?
If you like minimalism,
Mid.
you will probably enjoy this. It's because it's like Boston. It's very minimal. But if you love the
Minimalism.
Guangzhou Economic Development Zone, like Avril was saying, then you're being a huge fan of this.
I don't know. It's too
Yeah,
long.
economical and technical development zone. You'll love this. I personally, as someone that doesn't mind minimalism, I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's like top tier. I'd put it as a mid.
Yep.
I agree with Jack.
It is
I think
very
it's a
mid.
I think it's clean. I
It's
think
very
I think the
clean.
contrast
Yeah.
is nice between the white and the shades of blue that they use in this jersey. Like if I was, so okay, here's going to be my scoring system. Would I wear this out? Say if I went to like Guildhall and like cheered on the Overwatch League broadcast and like had a few drinks, would I wear their jersey?
Wait, do we
out?
all have to abide by that system?
No,
because I
no,
will literally
that's my
never. You'll never
system.
catch me dead wearing a jersey.
No,
Never.
that's
Not
my
even your
system.
own Avast collab
Connor
jersey.
is like the biggest Grinch of all time. It's actually
I
fucking.
think I hate jerseys. I hate them. I hate them. I hate jerseys.
Fucking
I hate them.
esports. He moved out of esports. He barely comes on.
I
fucking
haven't
Twitch.
moved out of esports.
Dude,
I'm
he
still
moved
here.
out of
I'm
fucking
still here.
esports. He works for Misfits. Doesn't work for Mayhem anymore, and he hates
How do you
fucking clothes.
how
bro.
do you
That's
feel about your
crazy.
season 1 Avast Boston jersey?
It's insane, bro.
What I mean, I feel about like I feel with all jerseys. It's like not very.
He hated it.
It's a
Even
jersey.
your own
I just don't
jersey.
like
He hates
jerseys.
Your own
it. He
official
hates
jer-
Boston. He hates Mayhem.
I don't hate my
he
jersey
hates
because it's
esports.
my jersey. I hate the jersey because it's a jersey. It's two different things.
That's such a dumbass take, bro.
Anyway,
I just don't like jerseys. I don't like them. I don't like how they look.
well, we're gonna talk about it for the next hour, so enjoy it, Avast. It's gonna be great. It's the worst topic we've done for
I'm happy to put this. I think this is like a
mid as
B.
fuck.
I feel like it's a B. I'm not a big
B?
fan of the.
I would
B
almost
is
be
the
like
mid, is
top
it?
of B or like low A.
It's only 5. So B is mid,
oh,
right?
no, okay. You don't have D. Put it in B. 100%.
Yeah, B
Put in
is
B.
mid.
Put in B.
So I'm happy
Yeah,
with
put
He's
in
B.
B.
mid.
Okay.
He's mid.
All right.
Literal,
I'm fine with B.
literal mid.
Charge is B. All right.
We
Yeah.
can always organize the rankings of it later. Let's just worry about the macro groups. First.
Yes,
Spark,
okay.
Spark, and they have like small little things here.
I kinda
in the-
like
in,
this.
in the pink as well. So there's the
I
official logo.
I also
here,
like
for
it.
example.
Yep.
I don't
I like
know
it.
if
This
there's
is
supposed to be,
almost
like flowers
Hawaiian-esque.
or stuff in here, but
This is
yeah.
A.
A.
No, it's a little
A.
finger guns. It's a little finger guns in there.
Yeah,
but yeah,
but it's
I like
all
it.
finger guns, is it? there's
I like
some
A.
finger guns, but there's also like.
I mean, it's tough to tell from the-
this
I
is
like
a
the
tower
Halloween
or
vibe on
something.
it.
I like that. It's
I think
minimalist. It's minimalist, but it's not.
How the
You,
fuck
like,
is
have
it
to look
minimalist?
closer.
It's there's
Because
shit all
they're not.
over.
Like, it's not like a fucking. It's not white on pink. It's like slightly
same
darker
color,
shade
basically.
of pink, right? So it's like it's still like minimalist kind of. Yeah, I like it. I like
it.
jersey.
I like
it's
it.
not like an S
Put it
tier,
up.
but it's definitely an A.
No,
Put it
I
in
think this is
Put it in
B
the
as
A.
well.
B.
Yeah, I think.
Well,
this is
we're
B.
voting. How many
like
are
this
voting
one.
A?
I think
voting
A because I think it's better than
We have
Chargers.
3
jersey.
A's.
Oh
We
my
have 3
Chargers,
A's.
God.
if
Three
Chargers
A's.
B,
Holy
I think this is better than
shit.
Chargers jersey.
It's good.
Oh,
Yeah, it's better
God.
than Chargers. Yeah.
Dallas Fuel.
So I think this one's a little
C,
too basic
maybe?
for me. Yeah, this
Maybe
was a little
C.
too basic.
man. It's like minimalism, but like it's not. It's too basic.
It's lazy minimalism because it's just got a
Too
big
basic.
fuel logo and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're
And
done.
it blends into
Yeah.
this part here. I don't like how it blends in. Like if it was a bit smaller, like down
Looks
here.
like there's a line there.
By the way, totally not a designer in any way. I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. But I don't like that. it
Well, this
bleeds
is
in
just
here.
clothing.
You're
Everyone,
right, though. You're
we're
right.
allowed
It-
to. We're allowed to talk about it. You know.
We're allowed to
Yeah.
talk about clothing.
This looks, for what is meant to be a new jersey, this looks like last year's jersey with a big fat logo on your left abdomen. It's just,
I feel like
I
they
don't
could have
know.
done
I'm
a
not-
lot more. They have like
It's not-
one of the like brand wise and like icons wise, like they have a fire, like a literal flame. I think they could have done a lot better than
They could have had
like,
shoulder
logo.
pauldrons filled with gasoline that you could light on fire.
Yeah, Guy
They could have done
Fieri
that.
shirt, but in fucking blue. You know? So,
A
I
blue
don't
Guy
know.
No, that's for the
Fieri shirt.
Infernal. The Guy Fieri shirt's for the
That's
Infernal.
true.
That's
Yeah,
the
that is
Infernal.
true.
They have the Fieri.
anyway, I think
think-
this is a D. No,
Yeah,
sorry, a
it's
It's
C.
either a C or a D.
Definitely a
It's
C.
max
But there's
C,
no- there's no
potentially a
D.
D.
There's no D. So
well,
just
I
C.
would say C.
It can't go F then. It's not F. It's not F tier.
It's not
C.
F. It's not trash.
Okay,
It's not F.
All right,
Yeah,
we go see. I go see. Yeah. We could also. I could also just change these values, so we could, if it gets
so
weird,
that-
we could.
This is
I
good
think
for
it's
now.
fine. I think it's
Yeah.
fine.
This is fine.
Yeah. All right. Someone wants me to kind of look at the back of the jerseys, but I don't have the back of the
Then-
jersey, so I don't know how to.
I don't
view
even.
that.
If I have to look at the back, I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to see the front.
Soul Inferno. Got some flowers.
I like it.
Okay, S. This is S.
I like
this
it.
is good.
I like it.
Good.
I actually do
colours,
like it.
Good arrangement of like the picture of the cherry blossom. I think this is very cool.
I have one criticism. The middle band part. This is Soul Infernal. It's just black on black there with the black background. It's kind of just blends. I
might be
feel
a
like it's got to
render.
have some contrast. I feel
This
like it's
might-
kind of weird.
This
for me.
might be a render of the t-shirt though. No, like that could be. I don't
Like,
fucking know.
I mean, I
As
don't
in-
think
I
you
see,
buy
like,
Everything
this.
is a band, right? So maybe it is fucked. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think
all the other
flowers
jerseys-
won't be, on
All the other
logo.
jerseys, the
Yeah.
middle band parts are different colors, so that it
Yeah.
stands up. That is my only real criticism. In fact, I think it would be better if all the flowery stuff, the tree stuff, kind of
If it blended
know.
into the text.
it blended.
went-
Yes,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
it
that.
came out
Then I
behind
should
it,
get it.
yeah.
That'd be sick,
That'd be
yeah.
kind of cool.
It's
I
it's a
agree.
good
I still think this
concept,
is an
but
S,
like,
though.
Couple of A?
I'm
Why
gonna
why
go
do
A.
why
I'm
do
gonna
all
go
the
A
why
for
do all the
me.
jerseys have to have like the chest binders anyways? Like I'm trying to be
don't know.
Mulan. Like I don't
Just
understand. Like,
this.
like why do they have
Sorry,
to
I
have
don't know
that
why.
anyways? But
It's
I
better than
overall like I'm gonna
Something
go.
about
I'm gonna
that.
go. This one is
I think
at
A.
least
A for me.
It's at least A. Potentially we could reorganize it to S depending. Do we want to do a relative ranking system or do we want to do a pure ranking system of like we strictly don't believe any of them could be S tier theoretically.
No,
I think there's a couple of S tiers for me,
I think we'll
legitimately.
do. Yeah,
So
I think we'll do relative.
and-
Yeah.
I
some
like
could be
this.
S.
I would personally put it in.
I like it.
even with the band in the middle. I really
what's
like.
the vote here? What's Johnny going?
I want high A for now with the potential of moving up to S if none
So
of the
three
others are
A's.
satisfactory.
I need to
That's
see.
three
I
A's.
need to see maybe a
Yeah.
review. Maybe a review at the end. But it definitely deserves at least an A.
Yeah, because
So-
I think it's better than Sparks.
How the?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. New York.
S tier. Actually love this.
I quite like this.
I love that. This is actually insane. This is, again, the best part about this roster is always the design of the jerseys and all that kind of stuff.
It's
So-
chaotic.
Yeah.
The design doesn't really do it justice, but I think there's supposed to be some like New York elements here. So here's the.
Well, you can
Statue
see
of
like the
Liberty
Statue of
hand.
Liberty and such. Yeah.
example.
So like
Yeah.
I like how it looks. I mean, it's definitely I could see it's good enough to where I could give it like an S, I think.
I just think it's more unique than anything else that's kind of bland. I don't want something too crazy, and this is probably on the verge of being too crazy, but it doesn't enter the realm of too crazy for me, just crazy enough where I'm like, it's got some cool stuff going on that makes it stand out among the rest of the jerseys.
It doesn't have the
It all
blue
makes sense.
from New York.
Yeah, I don't love the
No.
gray on black.
Weird.
Everything is gray.
I
I think
don't want
it's-
the grey on
I think
black.
it's
If it had the blue though, as like an accent color or something,
Yeah,
it might be
exactly.
a little bit better.
Yeah, I would go elevated a bit, but I like the sketch look of it. It feels very sketchy, you know, and the sketch
like that too.
that's kind of cool.
You
I like how
love
that
the
looks.
sketchy.
I like
I'm
the sketchiness
definitely
of
an
it.
A.
You know, actually, you know what? One of the best jerseys ever in Overwatch League history was the New York third kit from I think season 3. Was ridiculously good.
Dude, that is crazy. You can remember that. Like, if you were to ask me, well, do you remember the second kit from 2019? I'd be like, okay, how about what's next? We're gonna do fucking linear algebra.
I can remember the
can't
second
that
kit from
shit.
2019. It was just white and then whatever the normal color is.
That's crazy. That's insanity. You have pushed out all skills of your brain like SpongeBob in the Fine Dine episode.
In fact, I can remember what your second kit in 2018 was. It was a white version of whatever the normal kit is.
Well, wasn't that just a home and away?
Oh, do you mean
Yes.
this?
There's only 2
Yeah.
kits.
Yeah, so it's just home and away. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Oh my god.
I didn't call them.
these
We
jerseys
didn't call them kits. We called them home and away back in
Yeah.
the day.
Some of these were average, but
that one
I
was
think this
cool.
third kit was nice.
Yeah,
Not
I
okay.
really
The
like
rest
that
of it's kind of boring, but the logo with the New York backdrop in the inside the NYXL logo
3D.
is so
building
good.
sticking out.
Yeah, I actually think that's sick. Just the logo though. The rest of it's kind of
Cruz?
whatever.
The
That
fusion
that was
the
referee.
fucking jersey. The referee.
Pretty bad.
The shock one. Now the Defiant one. I'm gonna be honest. I think
quite
people
liked
hated
it.
this. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's cool.
I liked it personally.
Yeah.
The Justice one I thought was doo-doo dog shit. So
Yeah.
These jerseys are nice. Fuck. Now we're going back to 2020, but yeah, there you go.
yeah, this is 2020.
Yeah.
Well, the
I actually don't
peach
mind the peach. That
The
like
peach,
this.
I
Yeah,
like
the peach Atlanta
Wasn't
jersey was
bad.
kind of nice.
wasn't bad.
Anyway.
Fun.
That
There's
was
some fun.
2020.
Yeah,
things.
so,
So
I
I-
I think on the New York.
I S for me.
I'm
I don't
giving
know
it
about
an
you
S.
guys.
I'll give it an
Yeah,
S. I think
I'm
it's
down,
fine.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different. It's fun. I think if we're gonna give that S though, I think Infernal should go S personally.
I'd agree with that.
Yes.
I'd agree with
Yes,
that.
Yeah.
thank you. Yes,
Alright.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. LA Valiant.
Actually, I actually like it.
It's
I
pretty
actually
damn
like
good.
it.
It uses the band quite well because they flipped the colors from the top to the bottom. So like the accent is dark blue on the top, where it's light blue on the top, and the background is light blue on the bottom, where it's dark on the top. I like that. They use the band really well, and the arms look kind of cool. I don't think we haven't really seen.
No,
I
it
think
does
the
look like
wings
good.
going
Whack.
up to the minimal to the small logo, like that kind of like
It's
like
cool.
wing unfolding thing up to there, like it looks nice. Looks nice to me.
The only thing I don't
you
know
guys
if I
are
like is
fucking
the
kidding me.
shoulder stuff is weird to me. The rest of it's fine.
I agree. I don't think the shoulder stuff is necessary. The shoulder stuff looks like an XFL jersey. A bit. Like it kind of looks like
XFL.
something where I'm wearing like all XFL is like it was like the third tier professional sports football league in America. And they all had like
Okay.
crazy weird color schemes, I think, if I'm remembering properly.
Okay.
So
I think they're supposed to be clouds. No.
I don't fucking know, but it looks
No, I
like if
don't
someone
know, man.
vomited on the
Not
shoulders,
the
I don't think you can tell the
worst.
difference.
Not the worst.
I
like
mean,
that.
you know, maybe the clouds over Ohio right now. They could be those clouds.
Yeah, maybe
potentially, but I
those,
don't
yeah.
think.
I
don't think.
for me, this is gonna be crazy. I personally think B. I don't feel this one that hard.
No, it's
I don't think it should
C
be.
at
I don't think it
most.
should be. I don't think it should be A. But I don't think I'd either be willing to do B or top of C.
B. Definitely
Is my
B.
current.
No,
I think it's B to top of
what?
C. I think this is better than the Fuel jersey for sure. This is
Yeah.
definitely better than the Fuel
Yeah.
jersey.
I'd say
It
And
definitely-
I would say it's comparable to the Charge jersey.
I think I like the
So it
charge
should be
jersey
B.
more.
Sure.
Yeah,
I like Valiant.
But behind the charge. B, but behind the charge.
100% B.
Is it
Yeah, I
the
think I
Charge
can live with
better?
that. I can
Yeah,
live with that.
All right.
okay. Moving on. Vegas Eternal.
Okay, I actually really like this.
Oh,
I think it's
actually
kind of
really
cool.
like this.
I think it's kind of cool, but they're still
Really?
appropriating the cock when they're in Las Vegas. So I don't
Yeah. You know this-
understand why they're using the cock.
This looks like a legitimate. I could see somebody on WSOP wearing this. I could
No.
see Phil Hellmuth wearing this.
No.
on the
What the fuck are
WSOP.
you talking about? Dude, this looks like some fucking 16-year-old bought it off an Instagram ad. Or the fucking carpet of the Bellagio
Yeah.
or something. Like,
yeah, I was
Oh, it could
actually
be on a
thinking
carpet.
it looks like a
Could be a
really
Persian carpet.
badly done tribal tattoo in like the bands, and then you have designs in the
I just like
bands.
it's. I just like.
do
I think
not
that. I
like
think
it.
more needs to happen on the top, but I just like that it's not just a bland jersey. That's just. Here's a white
Dude,
jersey.
I hate
Done.
this dividing part. There's no
No,
connection
the
between
dividing
top
part
and
is
bottom.
strange. I agree. I don't understand this band in general. The band was not necessary. I don't understand why we had to put the chest binders on this. I don't get it. I don't understand. There's no point for this. But like, because this looks like a crop top to me. It looks like you're wearing a crop top, and then there's a second shirt underneath. But the actual like the overlapping like card, like you know, like you have the suits and stuff with the cock. Like I kind of like that, but also. But I also don't know why. Like the biggest problem here is just from an eternal standpoint. Like, why do you still have the cock at all? You're not French. You can't use it anymore. I'm standing with the French. I'm standing with the French in this one instance. The French and every meme, every post that Vegas Eternal been posting, all the French people are be like, "Give us back the cock!" Like every time, they're literally like in every post they make. And I'm standing with the French. Okay, this is 1776 again. I'm with them. Okay.
Someone made a very good Eternal logo. They just removed the head and the foot and made it into an infinity symbol, and that like Eternal and an infinity symbol is pretty cool. Like. Are they not allowed to change the cock? I guess. I don't know what the
why would they not be allowed to?
Can't be bothered.
I don't know. I just don't know. But like, I just remove the cock. I mean, the head and the fucking the legs, and then turn it into.
Dude, they could go crazy hard too. Germa lives in Vegas. They could just put the Germa head as their logo.
They just put the
Germa's head as logo. It'd be sick.
That would be sick.
I will say about this jersey, if you actually like zoom in and you just look at the bottom part, which doesn't, you know, with this pixels doesn't make it. You know, justice, but like this lower part legitimately like looks great, and like these stars or whatever, it looks like
cool.
some, you
I
know,
dig it. I dig it.
like
Louis
Vuitton stuff, you know, good color scheme, like I love that.
I think if it was across then that, I mean, come on.
If it was across the whole thing, I'd love it more.
I'd love to
Maybe
see what the
it's,
design
like,
looked like if this
symbolizes
part was in the top two and you just have the divider between the two parts.
I mean, I just don't think you need divider at all. Like if the entire jersey was that kind of look, I think it would look good. I feel like maybe it's symbolic of like, you know, like it's them playing the regular season, then getting eliminated because they can't make post season. Like, you know, notice like they make it to they make it to there. They make the jersey is like 75% done, and then the top 25%, that's like the end of the season. They don't make it there.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like a symbolism choice.
I would put Vegas Eternal above Charge for effort. Top of B.
You don't think it's A? You don't think it's at least A?
Could be A.
I
Could be
do not
convinced,
like it.
but-
I would struggle to put it above B. I'm gonna be real.
So here's the problem. If we were to chop off the top half of that shirt, it would be better than the Charge. Unfortunately, the top half of the shirt is on it, so it's not better than the Charge. I don't think it should be better than the Charge because the top part of it ruins it.
Versus Vegas.
But I mean, it ruins it a bit. It kind of ruins it for me.
I get it from the perspective that like if you're wearing a Charge jersey, you're like, okay, minimalist, fine, I'm with it. But every time you see the Eternal jersey, or every time you wear the Eternal jersey, you'll just be like, the top part, it just annoys me. So like you're going to be bothered by the Eternal jersey.
Yeah,
whereas the
it
Charge
bothers
one,
me.
you just it
Irks me. It irks me.
All right. Well, put Charge above that. Charge is like it's like the gatekeeper of jerseys right now. It's just holding the Valiant and the Eternal.
This is over under. Is it better than Charge or worse than Charge? That's all it is.
Yeah. Okay. Titans. S tier.
I love this
jersey. This is amazing.
I love it. The blue hue going up, and they've incorporated the band kind of, right? So they stopped the blue hue going upwards as soon as it hits the band. Yeah, if you're gonna have a good jersey this season, you got to incorporate the fucking band somehow, and I think they did that really well. And
one thing,
a small thing, I like that they only have the Titans like face logo on one arm. I like that.
I was gonna say one of the Yetis is missing, but then also it's a good meme. Like you're in the forest, there's a mountain there, and the Yeti is just in the corner. It's like in space. It's just yeah.
I found
Bigfoot.
Sure.
It's in the sky.
It's like the perfect mix of like gradient meme, like what the fuck, and actually like professional suits, Vancouver Titans brand, and you know if you're a fan, you kind of get it. Like it's just the perfect mix of.
I think it is good though. I think it really is good.
I really like it.
I like it. I think it's nice. I don't know if I'm not responding emotionally to it, but it's I can look at it and I can see like it's nice. It's nice.
I
So
know,
wherever
I know,
you guys want to place it, I feel like.
I know
fair.
Connor is very anti-chest bind here, and this one hides it very well. It's almost like it's not.
Yeah, it does. And also it incorporates it at least. Like I agree with Jack actually. If you're gonna have this goddamn piece of fabric over the middle, you might as well utilize it in the design. So
And
like
they
did do that. So they get points. They
Keeping
get
the
points
top
for
right of the
incorporating.
plane is really nice. Apart from the one logo, if they had double logo, it would look worse. Like 10 times out of 10. I think this is a very good jersey design.
Where the fuck is the back of the Vancouver Titans jersey? People are molding, and I'm like, where did you find the back of the Vancouver Titans jerseys?
Is it on
what-
the website?
It's not on the
Dude, this
website,
is like
but there is no back.
this is in the jersey heads are out of control here. The jersey heads are absolutely out of control right now. On top of that, like we've entered a zone that's like filled with just people that there's designers and shit. Designers are some of the most they're so opinionated, like, you know, and we're opinionated too, but it's a different thing because they have artistic merit to their opinions. And like, you know, this is like it's just like it's just not our zone here. It's not our zone. Much like if I'm the blue hue from the Titans jersey, my zone is not above the band.
Oh wow.
Above that.
So okay, well, someone sent me the gallery.
Okay.
Someone sent me the gallery.
The full gallery leak.
Wait,
No, of the
full
back
one?
of the jerseys, yeah. So-
Just only
okay.
the back. Why also
gallery
why are there
only
like
back.
what is this like WikiLeaks style like leak for the jerseys where there's like 80 different PDFs to go through? I'm going through the Panama papers.
Here's the New York one, the back of it.
But that actually is really sick. Okay, the back
That
helps
is-
there.
That is
That's
very
That's
cool.
S tier
That's
as
cool.
That is
fuck.
very cool.
Yeah, that's definitely S tier. Deserves to be S.
I'm from where beef is inevitable. That's on the
That's
New York
good.
jersey.
That is
Yep.
Alright.
an exceptional
99 cents,
quote.
Statue of Liberty.
Is that their budget this year?
Here's the
Okay,
Valiant
the Valiant back is really bad. I don't like the Valiant back. I don't
It's
like the
it's
Valiant
pointing
back.
to your ass.
All right.
That might have lost his ball. Oh, look at it.
that's
That's
good.
that's good.
That's
That's nice.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the
really
inverse of the.
Actually, do you know
Yeah,
what this
it's-
infernal
it's the whole
jersey
thing.
reminds me of? Like, I could see a pro darts player wearing this. You show up the pub and this is what you wear.
Yeah,
Your
or like a
cards
Steven.
change.
I could see like a Steven Seagal character, and he's in his home with
Yeah.
his katana and stuff. Like I could definitely see him wearing something like that. No, the view is terrible.
Wait a minute, that's not even colored in.
Very
Just an
mid.
outline. Yeah.
That's an
Whatever.
outline. That's not
Yeah.
even colored in.
We're skipping
We need
ahead
to
a
find
bit
some
here.
more that
There's
were
Spark.
that spark.
Just
I
more
mean,
of the
it's
same.
pretty much just a replicating.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's fine.
That's
It's
alright.
nice.
Good.
Doesn't
Right.
add-
This is charged. Got the gradient on the
I
charge
don't-
jersey.
I don't
I
mind
kinda
that.
like it.
I
I
quite
don't
like
mind it.
that,
I
honestly.
think it's pretty good.
Honestly.
I don't mind it either. I think it looks unique. It looks unique because like the way they did the shoulders and stuff.
Oh, wait a minute.
Ooh.
Holy.
I don't think. Okay, I'm gonna be real. I don't know if it helps or hurts.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hey, Jack,
I don't think
I
that
found out where they hid the second Yeti. I found him.
Yeah, there he is. I don't think that helps. I think if they just continued the mountain range going around, I think that would have been SS tier, I would say. This does knock it down a peg, although it's still you are the front of the jersey. That's where most people are seeing. So I'm still willing to put it at S because the front of the jersey is still pretty.
I
sick.
forfeit my S vote.
Ooh.
Keep scrolling.
After
It
this
should be
additional
A.
review,
A,
I think
A
A.
tier.
Fine,
Should be A.
Okay, sure.
I'm honestly
Yeah.
tempted to still potentially make it. Nah. Spark
No,
is pretty
A,
good. Spark's
no,
pretty good. Yeah.
it's-
A.
Where's
No,
oh
yeah,
here's
it's
the
still
yeah
A.
here's the
That
Okay.
look. I mean, that looks because look at it.
Yeah.
It looks nice when it's like an accent almost more so when you have it go all the way up and then it just stops.
Yeah.
You know, like it almost looks better on the back than it does the front.
yeah. All right. There we go. There's the back of the jerseys. So we still charge still top of B or
Yeah, I think Charge still
Alright.
keeps
Yeah.
its spot. Still
Okay.
keeps its spot on the B.
all right. Where are we at here? Spitfire.
What is the back? Is there a back for it?
There is
Yeah,
indeed a
It
back.
was
There's
the
a back.
same circles, I believe.
Same.
Oh, but
So
there's a plane.
plane
This
here.
one
has a
and there's
plane.
circle.
I'm not loving it. not loving
Charged here, I think.
I mean,
like
I get what they're
mid
trying to
again.
do because like those fighter planes have like those circles, you know.
I think it's reasonable.
You're in
I don't think
Dude,
it's. I don't think it's
I gotta
bad.
take-
I'm
I
not
gotta
loving
take-
it.
My take is that I actually like this better than the Chargers.
Yeah,
Really?
Chargers
slightly.
is too,
Yeah,
it's too
slightly better.
minimalistic. It's too little happening on the Chargers jersey. I actually prefer this one to Chargers jersey.
I think this once again, this jersey would be immensely improved if there was not a band in the middle.
Yeah, the baby blue is not great. Just, like, block
I
off the
personally am okay. I would be okay
You
to
know
put
what?
this around Chargers.
Chargers.
This would also be improved if they got rid of the orange. I don't. I think two colors is fine, and
Really?
the orange makes it weird. I
Orange
personally
is a
for
nice
me.
contrast.
Well,
Is it part of the
I
logo?
don't. I think if they
It's just-
maybe
but
had the.
Why is it just there? Why are there just 2 little strips of orange? It's just in a weird place. Just seems weird to me.
It feels like they're trying to make a character out of all the different geometric, like all the different colors. You know, like it feels like they're trying to like make a shape out of all this. And I don't know what they're trying to tell me. Like there's like a hat.
They're making a
or something.
circle.
I think London
No,
a
not-
little bit
You know
below
what-
charge.
Do you know what London's jersey looks like? A smaller jersey inside of a jersey.
Yeah, I
If you
kind of
look
see
at it
that. Yeah,
again.
yeah, I
one?
kind of see it a bit. The London. It looks like a
London-
smaller jersey
Go
inside
to
at
the
the
big
top.
picture. It looks
Like
like a
it's-
small
they're little
jersey
tiny
inside of a
jersey.
jersey.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
a
I
child
kinda see
jersey
it.
inside of a
It's
normal
just
jersey.
very the way they segmented it. I think I personally would not put this above charge.
I would not
It
either.
goes below charge.
I
for
think it's
sure.
I
Yeah.
think it's just tab below.
I would be tempted to put it down to C tier, but
Ooh,
I would.
it's above Valiant.
mean, like,
for sure.
It doesn't evoke emotional response to me, which is
Okay,
why
you
I'm
know what,
like.
just
I figured out. I know how to improve the jersey. I know how to improve the London jersey. If they got rid of the baby blue on the shoulders entirely and just made the entire top the dark blue and extended the orange like ring all the way around the arm area, then I think it's a sick jersey. So
Yeah.
that baby jersey in the middle actually looks better than the full jersey.
The problem is this baby blue is so prevalent in their logo. They shouldn't.
That's
have,
fine.
They,
You
they
have the
probably
baby
need
blue in
to
the chest
abide by that.
binder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have it in the band in the middle. That's fine.
and to be fair to that point, NYXL's entire logo is blue, and they had no blue on their
Yeah.
jersey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but you know that looks cool, so I give him a pass.
it is. Yeah, I mean, it does look cool. As
Like
long as
if
it
London
looks
were to
cool, it
drop the
doesn't matter,
heatest
right?
jersey of all time and it had nothing to do with their colors, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. You win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's a good jersey.
That's what it
you
needs
know,
to do.
I feel like they should just almost like commit to like navy camo. Because Spitfire are a bit military-ish, and you can have like navy camo. Like, you know, I think.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
copying the shark.
Blue tiger.
Yeah,
Blue tiger
I
camo.
mean, fuck it. Even if it's copied the shock, I think navy camo would be pretty sick on the Spitfire jerseys. So, all right. I kind of think like either on below or above Eternals poker jersey.
I personally would have Eternal above it.
Okay. I hate that
Yeah.
I'm okay with
Valiant's in B tier. By the
Put
way.
Valiant down. Can we put Valiant down?
Yeah, okay, put it down. Put it down.
Or
yeah.
see?
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
the back is so bad. I'm willing to agree.
It's
to that.
so bad.
facts are
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on to the next one.
Let's get on to the next one, yeah.
This is going to be funny as fuck.
F.
What are you
F.
doing on
F.
Really though.
F.
Really
F.
though. No
Solid
trouble.
West.
Omega F.
Coolest colours
Omega F.
in the Overwatch League. You have
Omega
F and gold, 2 colors that go insanely well together, and then they just write Seoul, Korea.
Absolutely
Seoul,
Omega
Korea.
F.
Seoul,
I've never
Korea.
seen
in different
like
fonts.
It's just so
I do
lazy.
not
It's just
like it.
unbelievably lazy.
The back is exactly the same, but
Yeah,
without.
look, show the back just for a laugh. Even though I know what it looks like, I just want to laugh.
Where is it? Oops.
Yeah,
I mean-
absolute Omega F. Unbelievable
Yeah.
large F.
this is a miss.
Oh my god.
Complete miss.
And you're right. They have so much potential. Black and gold, and they're
Black and
literally
gold is a
from
cool
Seoul,
color
Korea.
combo.
There's nothing to do with their logo. There's nothing to do with the tiger. There's just nothing to do with Korea tiger. Nothing.
Yeah,
It's just
well,
the-
got
this
something
is
to do with
the
Korea.
biggest
It's got
disappointment.
the fucking word on it. Korea.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Korea.
Oh.
So, like, miss F.
it's got
put it
soul
in
on there twice. or
I'm going to
50
give a
times.
hot take, okay? I'm going to give a hot take. I feel like this jersey especially catches a bad rap because it's this like laid out graphical photo of it. If someone actually wore it, I wonder if it looked a little bit better.
Also, I can tell you how to improve this jersey by a magnitude right now. Instead of just saying Seoul, Korea, you could have some of it in Hangul, and that will actually make it stand out. And people
Yeah,
will-
that would improve it
That would
drastically, but
improve it immensely.
it would improve it, but it still wouldn't change the fact that like just to me personally, if you have like the point of a jersey is, I understand the reason is like it's supposed to be represent the soul of a team, no pun intended, but like there is like you know, you want to see some artistic representations and like things there, not just text. Unless the text is like super like really like hard, like the text hits different,
Stylized.
like something like some sort of like insanely infamous like really cool quote that you like stylize or something like. But like realistically, just putting the name of the city over and over again is not cool or interesting. It's just like it's not super unique necessarily.
People love
It's
to
lazy.
point out,
Again,
by the way.
it's just lazy.
that it cuts off here from the Korea, so it says Soul Core.
I mean, that kind of is like a type. You know,
Jesus
people are
Christ.
soul core.
Soul
People can be
Core,
soul core
yeah.
for sure.
All right, I think we have our first F jersey for no effort. They handed in the homework at the deadline, and this is what they came up with.
I respect it.
All right,
Save your time and effort.
Atlanta Rain, channeling
Can I see the back?
the Phoenix waves, and this is what they've done. God damn, this
Guy
is not
Fieri.
organized in the same way. It's literally just. The
I
Phoenix
actually think the front of it, because the way, you know, notice how they did the collar where like the Phoenix is coming down on the front of it, not the back. Like you see, you can see the Phoenix head. Like, I actually kind of like it.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I actually kind of like
that
it.
improves it a bit. Otherwise, it's I don't know. This is gonna sound crazy, but this seems a little much to me. Whereas the Hangzhou Spark one, which other people might think is a little bit much, seems fine. But this, for some reason, is just quite heavy in terms of.
I think it
just 'cause
stands out. I honestly think like if we like we had that one homestand in Atlanta, and say there were like 20 fans like wearing this jersey, I'd be like, it's identifiable. I'm like, cool, they're wearing the Atlanta jersey. It looks cool. It's distinguishable. I actually
You
kind
know
of
what
like
it is? I figured out. There's no peach emojis, and that's why I don't like it.
I do think it does give kind of like a bowling shirt vibe, or like Guy Fieri vibe.
It does. It really
It does give that vibe a little bit for sure.
Bowling
Like,
jersey.
but the thing is that the design itself, the way they incorporated the Phoenix, I think is cool, but I don't love it. So I think it's like a max bottom of B, top of C.
I could go with that. Yeah.
I put it maybe above Valiant.
I would put it above Valiant.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god, it fits.
There you go.
Oh my
Dude,
god.
somebody Photoshop one of those bowling ball things on it, like a logo on it. I think it would fit perfectly. Just throw the bowling ball right on the jersey.
Amazing. Well,
Oh
where
my
do we
God.
stand then? I actually kind of like it.
I think above Valiant. Just
Yeah,
above
I
I
could
would
Valiant.
put it
say
above
B,
Valiant.
C.
And be fine
Above
with it.
Valiant. Okay. Yeah. On C. Surely it's a
Oh no,
B.
it should go bottom. I want
Kind of like it more
want
than
above
London
Spitfire.
almost.
Yeah, I'm almost there too with you. I kind of
I would say so.
agree.
I like the Phoenix head coming down. I think that's a really
Yeah.
cool incorporation.
I honestly, I kind of think it should go around there. Yeah, I think that's fair.
I'd be
I think it's fair.
okay with that. Yeah.
We got a pretty even distribution so far here. I like that. Looks good.
It's a bell curve.
Yeah. All right. Gladiators.
Here's my question for Gladiators: what the
Oh,
fuck
man.
does this have to do with law? Like, I'm
Yo,
trying
what
to figure
is
out,
it?
like, what
I don't
like,
even
what
know
is
what
They
it?
look like leaves.
Are those seahorses?
Yeah,
What
it
is
looks
that?
like fucking seahorses.
I don't
It's
know.
like
I don't know what
leaves
this
and
is.
flowers.
This is- do you know
It
what this
feels
is?
like
This is like a
Pacific
quarter complete.
inspired.
Yeah, it's like a quarter completed Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know
someone
what. Like,
started a Hawaiian shirt
it
and just
is.
gave up.
This is I like the small little
Like, what is
LA
it?
thing. I thought that's quite cool. But
yeah, the
this-
LA thing is
it's-
kind of cool, but
This
are
is
those
a miss.
leaves? They look like leaves.
Yeah, they just look like. Yeah.
Oh, they're like they're like some sort of like
Filigree.
they're like they're the what is it, like
Filigree
crenellated like
kind of thing.
ornaments, yeah, filigree, like
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Chips
it.
in YouTube
Still,
chat
what
says
is- what
it's
is-
Hispanic floral art, you nerds.
What's that got to do with-
Oh.
Well, Los
I don't know.
Angeles
Los
has a
Angeles,
very
I mean,
has a Los Angeles has a
Yeah.
very big like Latino community.
I would
so-
just expect them to do something with the again
So does-
very
so does
cool
Florida.
logo. They have a lion. Like their
Yeah,
jersey
the fuck-
previously was a giant lion head coming out from one side, like stretching across half the shirt. I thought that was kind of cool.
We're just
I'd
called
just expect them to
uncultured
use the
swine.
shield.
I just,
I mean, I understand that, but like again, they have a lot of cool imagery with the line and the shield. Maybe they
I'm
could have a
just-
shield filled with this kind of design.
Yeah, a
Just think-
shield with this in it? Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, like that would be kind of cool, but like
Bro,
just having it
the
kinda
parent
stretched
org is the
across.
guard. They could have had that guy on it. The guard. They could have had Sideshow on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
I like the usage of the negative space though. I think the putting the
Sure,
like
yeah.
the filigree to the side, like the usage of the negative space on it is nice. It feels pleasant
it?
to look at. I think it's nice.
I don't know. I feel
think
like it's just. I feel like it's just half baked. It's like
I feel like
someone
it's below
started on a
mid.
shirt.
Below
Someone
mid, in
started
my
on a shirt and
opinion.
just gave up. Is all I'm saying.
But it does. The thing about this is it does nothing for me. So you can literally place it wherever you wish, and I'll have no reaction.
This is
so-
this is.
It's below
a-
mid, I'd say.
This is Valiant here to me.
Concept.
No, I think it's a
Valiant
C
here.
personally.
You think it's a
I think it's a
C?
C. I think it's a C.
Honestly,
Valiant.
I think it might. I can live with that. Yeah, I think I can live with that actually.
I
Yeah,
think
can
that's a
see.
good position.
Wow.
I can live with that.
Wow.
Yep.
Top of C, above the Valiant, below the Spitfire.
If they, like I said, if they just put this design on a shield or like on the lion's head or something like that, I think that would be
Dude,
kind of fucking neat.
I mean,
There's more to
it's-
it.
You think it's worse than this?
Show the back of Gladiators again.
It's the same.
Someone said it's the LA tramp stamp.
What?
The LA tramp stamp. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what a tramp stamp is, Johnny?
I know indeed what a tramp stamp is. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
There we go.
Maybe it's just because it's purple, but I do think I like it better than Spitfire. Like the actual design.
You know, actually,
just based on the
I kind of agree with
design.
that.
Just based on the design, I don't know if it's worthy, but because it's purple, which is, not the
But
design.
honestly, that
is,
just makes me want to move to
choice.
Spitfire down a tier.
By the way, BP just fucking DM me and said, bro, this Plat chat jersey takes, you guys suck. Charges peak. This guy is dumb as
Glory
fuck.
to the
BP
Guangzhou Economic and Technological Development
Yeah,
Zone.
this
That's
guy
what
sucks.
that is literally BP right now. So
BP,
I think it's
shut up.
kind of funny
I'm
that
dumb
the
as fuck.
charge jersey is literally the mid.
It's mid.
the
It's
mid
very
standard.
mid. Everybody knows it.
I'm glad we started with
mid
the
as
charge. It
fuck.
really set the tone.
All
yeah,
right.
it did. It set the tone for it.
All right.
All right.
I can live with that.
Move on. Move on.
I can live with
no,
this.
we
I
haven't
can live with
decided
this.
here. I need a final decision, guys.
No, where it was. C,
No,
but
Spitfire
above
back to
the
C.
other two. Oh, was the Spitfire thing?
No, put Spitfire to C and then put Glad's bottom of B.
Yeah. I'm
can
down
live
with
with
that.
that.
I'm
This?
down with that.
Yeah.
Okay,
that
we're
sounds
good?
good to me.
All right.
I can live with that.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Mayhem.
This one I quite like.
I hate the blue here.
like-
I hate the
I
blue
do
here.
not. I think that's really nice. I think that gives it a nice little trim, and they've incorporated the blue Mayhem logo in the little trim. I quite like that a lot. You again utilizing the fucking textbook binder that they put in the middle. I personally like it. I like the bomb. I think it's cool. They've always had a kind of a cool logo, and obviously Miami Vice colors. Added a few more. They were literal Washington Justice colors, but I think it's quite nice.
Can I request
that?
to Albert an alternate version with the McDonald's colors?
Unfortunately, I think
Yeah,
the
never
McDonald's
coming back.
colors. I don't know where they're. I think they might be buried somewhere, but they're put in a vault to be sequestered away. I think it's. I agree with Jack's point. They've utilized the terrible band, which is nice. They have some cool design work. The colors are good, obviously. Like I'm feeling pretty decent about it. I personally don't know if I stand up. I'm like loving it or hating it on a personal level. On a non-personal business level, great design, Mayhem. Great design, Mayhem. One of the best jerseys I've ever seen. But on a personal level, I'm like kind of meh.
I would say not having the bomb where your ass is might be a little bit better, but like. That might just be me. I really like the blue up top, like the blue.
Yeah, the blue
things
up top's
with the
nice.
little triangles and shit. But having
I don't know why,
having
but the
bomb tramp
triangles
stamp-
it just makes me think of like the Killjoy Molly in Valorant. I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
Because it's pink and it's
yeah.
like triangles and it's like it's like arcadey neon kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't like the bomb in the
But
background.
that's
the bomb in the
not
bomb.
relevant.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I like it though. The front, very cool.
It should be no lower than
good.
B. Should be no lower than B.
No lower than B.
This is high.
Above
I would
Gladiators,
say that's
above
top
Atlanta,
of
in my
B.
opinion.
I would say that's top of B.
I like it better than Chargers, personally.
I do too,
on.
actually. I think.
But
I
it's
still
not
like
as
the
good as
Chargers
the
more.
mountains from Titans, I'd say.
I like the Chargers more personally.
That's just a subjective
It's so
thing, I guess.
bad, but yeah, it's just a
Financial
subjective thing.
decision.
Just vote it. Vote it.
It-
Vote it. Vote it. Vote it. Let's vote it. Let's vote it. I'm voting for
Mayhem.
Charge staying where it's at. There's Mayhem go above.
I'll do Mayhem, I guess.
That's two.
Funny.
Johnny.
Tie it up.
Ooh. I'll go Mayhem above.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Sounds good.
All right. Toronto Defiant.
I just don't know what this is.
I like it. I really like it. Simple design, techie kind of shit.
What is it?
Really like it. It's supposed
I
to be
like
like
the abs
little
here.
circuits kind of
The
thing.
tech
Yeah, what
abs.
Yes.
Yeah, is this like an Iron Man cosplay? I just don't
I
understand
have a
it.
good feeling. Okay, you're gonna have to zoom in, but it gets hella pixelated. There are more small, like gray-ish lines, and then small Toronto Defiant logos, and it looks like a circuit board up top. It's pixelated as fuck. But like in person, this jersey probably slaps. I like the circuit boardy design personally.
Show the back.
Maybe other people don't.
God damn
as
it.
much.
See,
Yeah,
I don't.
again, I like it.
I think it is supposed to be circuit boardy, but also I always get the vibe that it's supposed to be like very. Their branding's always been like kind of urban-ish, you know. Like whenever they did the hype videos, there's a lot of them staying like going around the city, like standing on buses and subways. Like I kind of get like a subway line map.
This is like
vibe
techie,
as well.
Techwear. Techwear kind of blends in with that kind of shit, I would say. So I really like it personally.
I don't like it.
I think
say-
I don't vibe with the
seeing
circuit board and like
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
abs, like the line abs. Just
Yeah, I think the line app, and also I just think if you're gonna go for like, I personally, their branding with the circuity board feel like it kind of has a mix of like urban, like subway line vibe with like circuit boardy. Like I think if they'd gone full into like kind of like that subway line vibe,
Yeah, they
this
should
would
just
be
have the
more
whole Toronto
coherent.
Metro map on the shirt. On the jersey.
That would actually be kind of cool. But like, I like legitimately, I actually don't even think have a problem with that. But like,
wait,
I just,
you don't even know what the metro looks like.
well, what
Just
do you,
the whole map.
Metro obviously doesn't look like that. What? That's the most worst designed city in the history of the world. What? It doesn't look like that. Like a big ass loop. They all have loops, like every subway.
Yeah, what? They're just gonna put that in there?
Yeah.
It's 2 fucking lines of trains.
I'm
It's
just
not like
saying.
the London Underground.
I'm just
Dude,
saying.
What's wrong with
You could do something.
How does Toronto only have 2 trains? What?
No, that I don't think that's correct. There's more lines than that. I'm pretty sure there's more lines than that. I think it's the one like you go down another row. There's like there's look.
Oh, this
that
one?
Yeah.
And in 2030.
Oh. But I don't think that other one. I can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure there's more than 2 lines. I'm pretty sure because I've been
31.
traveling through the Toronto subway. I could have sworn there's more than 2 lines, but I
Oh,
can't
there's
remember.
Toronto people in the chat who are like, "That's right, that's us."
That's us. That's us.
That's our
Well, but I've only been to the city twice, so to be fair, I'm not an expert by any means. I'm not an expert by any means.
All right.
But I don't love it. I'm gonna say it. I don't love it.
I don't
I
love it either.
I don't love
fuck you guys. I like it. I really like that.
You, what's Avril's opinion?
Show me the full list here, and I want to see what it could be above and below. I think it's kind of like.
See? Any C in chat?
I was gonna say A.
A.
No,
think
not A, not A.
Oh, you
No
guys.
way.
What about B?
No way.
What about B?
Oh my god. I will settle for a high B.
High
We won't
B.
be getting the high B.
It's not
No,
getting the high
absolutely
B,
not.
bro.
Not getting the high
Oh,
B.
you guys.
Not getting a high B.
fucking
I would do
blow.
this
You
way,
can all- You can all suck my cock and balls, bro.
Oh!
Dude,
Vegas
this is
Eternal doesn't have anything to do with
bullshit
this.
Opinions, bro.
I would do it below. If it's in B, I think Spitfire jersey has to be above it.
You want a real hot take? I think it's better than the
Nice.
Glads jersey personally, but that's just because I think.
No,
Ooh.
no, I don't.
You
think
guys, you guys have ranked
Oh,
Glads super high. And
Jesus Christ.
I
Toronto
don't think
jersey is
Glad's that
amazing.
bad.
A plus. Wow.
Thank
chat
you,
is
chat.
is really
Thank you.
want A on this.
I don't love it. I
How
don't
the
love
fuck
it.
do you
yeah.
want
Sorry.
A on
jersey
this?
heads, jersey
It's
heads in
good.
chat.
Tech things are fucking cool.
Yeah, but this is not
Techwear,
a
What's it got to do with Toronto?
techie, circuit boardy. I like that person.
You know the fucking story about, give a monkey a thing and he'll, after some time write Shakespeare or whatever. This is like give an 8-year-old a crayon and at some point they'll end up with a Toronto Defiant
What? He's
jersey.
going to draw perfectly straight lines across the jersey in 2 separate colors?
Bro,
I don't fucking think so.
this
Also,
is-
that
this is
theory,
like- this
you
is like
should really
doing
read
that-
up on that theory, bro. That's never going to fucking happen.
This is like doing that stylized S, but
Go
with
read the
circuit
paper.
lines.
No, you're dumb as fuck. No, Johnny, this is the dumbest conversation I've ever fucking had.
Oh,
No,
being
an 8-year-old
silly.
is not going to do
We're
that.
being silly. Woo!
No, we're being silly.
I'm okay with
Let's
B.
move on.
I'm okay with B.
Oh my
It's locked in.
god.
Are we?
It's locked in.
Avril Avast?
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm
I
fine
mean-
with that.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'll live with it. I'll
All
live
right,
with it.
we'll live with it. What's next here? Outlaws?
I personally think this is alright.
No.
No.
What are these? Do we have like
Actually, what are they? I don't know what those are.
The hypochondria?
Did you say cells?
Yeah.
Like,
Did you just say the
teardrops?
hypochondria? The hypochondria! Oh my god!
Oh.
He's killing me. He's killing me, man.
the hypochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Oh my god.
You're confusing a couple of words.
Dude,
there.
I don't know what the fuck
boy.
this side thing is supposed to be. Oh, I guess it's more of that Hispanic floral alt, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but I don't really care. I don't like it.
Because I've actually seen this before. Because no jokes, I was picking out my my wedding suit, and actually, like, you can choose like the pattern that goes inside the jacket or whatever. And this pattern,
I think it's called.
it's actually inside. Like you can have it as a choice. Yeah, so it's actually quite common.
That's a very common print in the UK. Like yeah, it's called paisley.
Paisley, yeah.
Paisley. Yeah, it's a. I remember this being very common. People used to wear shirts with the shit all the time. But I quite like the paisley.
Dude,
pattern.
if Mitch was on here, he'd like murder us.
Why?
Like us
What?
not knowing about
Likes
paisley print.
Paisley.
They do look like little bacterias, though.
Yeah, it does.
They do. They kind of got that vibe. Yeah, they got the vibe.
Not a fan of paisley.
I love when my shirt was culture grown in a petri dish. I just don't particularly love it. Personally, I just don't love it.
I
My own vibe.
what do we think about the green vertical lines here dividing for the logo?
I don't mind it. Dividing it is quite.
Because this is supposed to be the sides, right? So you got the paisley on the sides. I almost said parsley. Paisley on the sides, and then I got the logo in the middle.
Not bad. It's very mid, I would say, personally.
Yeah. All right. I was about to make a comment. I'm not going to make it. I do
What's
like
the back?
if yeah. You know, talking about the dividing part. I do actually like the green for dividing the.
I mean,
two back, yeah.
logo, their colors have always been good. Like Outlaws colors has always been nice. The Outlaws were probably the one that came out the game with some of the strongest branding alongside New York. Like they came into the game very, very strong.
Yeah.
The branding.
I don't think there's
no
the back. I could
Oh, well, we can probably assume it's probably the same.
Oh yeah, I mean I
'Cause it
can
wraps around, right?
I can just go to the official website because they actually have it. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so it wraps around with the paisley, and then it's got the fucking.
It looks alright. I think it looks quite good
Oh,
actually.
Neko's on this team? How long has Neko been on this team?
Well, he's an assistant coach, right?
Coach, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
Assistant coach.
When was
yeah.
that? When was that announced?
A while ago.
Did I
believe.
miss that?
I think you did.
Wow.
He might become a
Mike,
player
crazy.
later. Who knows? We'll see. The Hangzhou arc again.
Yeah, he got announced a while ago for Outlaws.
I will actually say I like it. I feel like they put effort into it. I feel like it kind of works. They got a good color scheme. Almost I'd say above Mayhem probably.
I think that's wrong. I don't like it. I can't even pinpoint why I don't like it. I just don't.
Also, like we
I would not
gotta,
say it's above Mayhem at all. I would put it way further down than Mayhem.
I would
really?
probably put it between Charge and Paris.
Sure. I would say that yes to that because I don't like Paris as well.
Also, we got too many jerseys in B. No,
kind of
they're
do.
all mid.
Also, I'm hesitating on the Vancouver A tier.
No, keep it.
But
It's cool.
All right.
Front
I'll
of
leave
the
it.
jersey's cool.
I'll leave it. I'll leave it.
Jersey's sick.
All right. Okay. Washington Justice.
I like it.
this is actually one of the more unique designs because it's like it's got a good flow. I
It's got a
also
good flow,
like
yeah.
that the band extends around into the shoulders, so it's not just like this random band. I feel like they've better incorporated the band on the shirt. So
I like it. This is
at least
the
A
entire
for me.
thing is like
personally.
their logo. So like
Yeah.
these lines are part of like the inner logo, the shield going down. I like that.
It's good.
At
And
least
what do
an
the
A.
6 stars represent?
Well,
Exactly. 6.
I thought
6
stars were
championships.
supposed to represent championships. Yeah, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've won all 6 Overwatch League seasons.
think that's yeah.
I still think it's a unique jersey, cool design, represents their brand well.
Yes, I really like it. It's cool. Again, they utilize the band quite well with the red going up to the collar. I think that's cool. Separating the dark
Show the
colors
back?
from the lighter
I
colors.
don't have the back. I guess it's
Oh.
on their
Oh.
website somewhere.
I like it. I think this actually might go an A for me, honestly. I like it.
I think
we
it's
don't know the
extremely
background.
well designed. It's just
Oh god.
it just is so It's so America pilled that
But it's supposed to be.
I know it's supposed to be.
So America build.
I know it's supposed to be, but it's just
the back not great.
yeah. I don't know.
It's just okay. It's just okay.
I think that's fine. I think having a plainer back or a little
It's got a gradient on it. I mean, that's
It
No, I think
feels,
it's
you know what?
egregious.
This feels like the most football jersey out of all of them.
yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Feels the most football jersey to me. Yeah.
The way this gradient works, the blue, the red lines, the black, this feels like a fucking Spider-Man dress up Halloween party jersey.
That's cool.
No? A
That's
budget
cool, though.
Spider-Man t-shirt?
Costume.
this is the Captain American cosplay. They're trying to find the Iron Man cosplay. You know, we're doing Marvel.
What do we think, guys?
I think A.
I actually think A too. But that no, actually
Hey,
I don't
honestly,
love it, but it is well designed.
Ooh,
It was
So-
well designed.
A
is good.
feels powerful. Putting Washington above Mayhem Outlaws,
It's good.
that's tough.
Listen, it's our own rankings.
Yeah.
Our own rankings. We can do
Yeah.
whatever we want.
You can put Mayhem in A.
Yeah, you could. I'm okay to keep. Justice is aesthetically pleasing for me to look at, even if I don't like it. So
I'll say
I'm
this.
willing to give it an A.
If we put Mayhem in A, it allows Charge to maintain mid.
Sure. Why
True
not?
neutral. Charge
Why
becomes
not?
We've
true
elevated
neutral again.
Mayhem. To the delight of Jaws, we've elevated Mayhem to A tier. He wasn't even paying attention, but that's fine.
I mean, sure, but you still put fucking Toronto in B, so didn't ask.
All right. I'll get Custa on next
I'm
week.
hard on the. No, please. No, please, Johnny.
All right. So,
Mayhem. The only problem I had with Mayhem was the bomb was on that fucking arse of the jersey. That was.
Well,
the
maybe
only
they have a
issue.
bomb ass ass.
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
they got.
If you got a bomb ass, then you know what jersey to
Yeah.
fucking get. You know what I'm saying?
Dragons.
I actually don't mind the dragons. Don't mind
Don't
it.
mind it.
Don't mind it at all.
It
It's just kind of nice.
Clean.
But it doesn't have.
It's like,
I don't think it's impressive in any way, though. I don't find it impressive in any way.
it's bland, but kind of stylized to the point where it's pleasing. You know, it's aesthetically pleasing, despite being quite basic. But
We're entering huge double standard territory soon, where we're about to like our initial like thoughts and disagreements, they blend up with what we like from the past one. I
think the pattern's
so-
nice though.
Yeah,
I quite like it.
it's clean. My opinion is going to be that I think that since the inception of the league in 2018, Shanghai Dragons has kind of gotten away with just having like red and black, and that's perfectly fine because it goes well for them. This is their brand. They don't need to do any fancy pattern. They don't need to add anything over the top. Like, this is Shanghai Dragons to me. I think the fans love wearing these colors, these jerseys, and that they don't have to do anything. Like, they don't have to push the upper limits of jersey design because they already have, like, it's clean.
You know what's funny about Shanghai is they've completely abandoned the yellow in the color scheme. They're like, you know what? It's just red and black now.
I mean, red and black's nice.
Yeah,
I think
fuck
this
the
should
yellow. We
be.
don't-
I think this should
screw the
be B. I don't think it should be A. I think it should be B. I think it should be top of B.
Well, I think it's clean,
I would say,
though.
yeah, it's clean, but there's nothing like super.
There's nothing stand out.
There's
It's like if we
that's-
can't put
ooh.
charge into A, this
Yeah.
shouldn't go into A. Is my opinion.
I think this is
I
better
would-
than Charge.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah.
I think it's
I
very similar
prefer
to
this
Charge to
pattern
me.
over the financial district.
Yeah,
Sure, but it's still like I think the back of the Charge jersey plus like the color scheme, like I just think it's just so minimal. It's just so minimal that like it's not executed in a way where I think I can put it. If you're super minimal and you don't have anything super stand out about it, I don't think it should go into an A.
Put it one behind Charge. Then I think Connor's
I'm okay
gonna
to put it
convince me
above
here.
Charge. Even I'm okay to put it above Charge in the B. I just don't think it
it's-
should go
I
above
think
B.
right next to Charge, either above or below. It's right next to
All
Charge.
right. I actually changed my mind. I prefer the Charge jersey over the Shanghai. And the reason
push.
is because this one actually says Guangzhou Charge, whereas this one just says Dragons. So if you wear this out and someone just like, you're wearing a jersey that just says Dragons, like, what the fuck? Whereas with the Guangzhou Charge jersey, you're like, oh,
It's the Guangzhou Charge
city of
Economic and
Guangzhou
Development Zone. Yes.
and the financial district. Or the
You know what it
development
is about
zone,
the
whatever.
Charge? The part that really redeems this jersey is the back of the Charge, and that's why I think this is above.
You
Shanghai,
think
even slightly.
this redeems the jersey?
Okay, it doesn't
looks cool.
redeem the jersey. It looks,
Looks
cool,
cool.
but I wouldn't say it redeems it.
Well, without that, I would think the Charge jersey is way more boring. But
This
with
is
that,
very
I think
bland.
it's. But it'd be more bland if it
Why
didn't
is
have
there
that.
where is there no district on the back? Come on. It's the highlight of the jersey. All right. Dragons below Charge.
Yeah,
above Outlaws.
I'm cool with that.
All right. We got 2 more jerseys. And then we're done. Stay with it. We got 3 actually. I forgot to add Boston maybe. I don't know.
Shock is cool. Shock is a cool jersey.
I really like this.
Really, I like it. I like it.
This is this is minimum A, but I'd push this into S personally.
I'd be willing to give it an S just because it feels different.
Yep.
It feels different. I'm willing to give it an S.
It's fucking cool.
It's cool.
It's sick.
It's really
very-
cool.
it's very
I think this is maybe
I'd
the best one.
I'd
I've
wear
always
a
had really
jersey
cool
like this.
jerseys.
I would wear this jersey 100%. I think it's better than New York. I think it's
S,
top of
for
S.
sure.
I think it's top of S.
Yeah, why
I
not?
agree.
Sure.
I can do that.
Love the shock. Banger jersey. Indeed.
Boston.
Some people are writing F in the YouTube chat, but they're probably just shock haters. All right.
I mean, this again, it's all subjective. All
Yeah.
subjective. So
And here we go. From Pre's announcement
Boston.
that they're fading the yellow onto
Okay.
the wavy Boston Uprising pattern that says Uprising in the little pattern. A small hint of Seoul Dynasty in this jersey, but only the partial pattern.
yeah, I would say it's a small hint. I would say this is definitely better than Zol's. However, it's so insanely minimal. And also, they've completely removed the yellow at all. There's no yellow at all
Oh, yellow
from
at
the
all.
Boston colors, which I don't necessarily mind per se, but I think it's just like, I don't know. I think overall for me, this is just so insanely minimal
Johnny,
that it doesn't have any like elements that I love necessarily about it that like I would put it like B. Again.
go into Discord and bring up the picture I linked for comparison.
I quite like it, personally. Oh, wait.
Charlie Brown.
Wait a second.
Charlie Brown looking ass jersey.
What the fuck? Okay. I mean,
All right.
yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It's just so minimal and like there's nothing going on for me that I really like.
I like the
So-
arms, personally. I like the arms, the arrows going up the arms. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
that pattern
You have
at the
a
top
back?
of the
I
arms
don't.
is
You have a
kinda
back.
cool.
I don't.
Okay, all right. Avast seems a bit of a downer here. I kind of,
The shoulders are nice.
I feel like I kind
Oh,
of
the
like
back
it
is
more than
exactly the
Guangzhou, to be
same.
honest.
I don't
Oh,
think
this
so.
is better
No
than
way.
Charge.
No way. I don't think so. No, I don't think it is.
The financial district gets rolled by the upwards arrows.
Listen,
I
I'm
think-
not gonna fight other than I don't think it should go above B. I don't think it should go above B. I think
Okay.
wherever you put it in B is fine. I've ridden my hands of it because I just don't care that much. So like, whatever. Like
I think
put
it's.
it
I
wherever
think
B.
yeah. The redeeming
think it's-
quality of the shirt is a shoulder pattern. If it wasn't for that, this would be awfully mid.
Also, Boston Uprising can afford to be minimalist because they got a good shade of blue and they got a good shade of white for this jersey. Like
A good
if you
shade
look-
of white.
If you
White.
look, I'm just imagining. Okay, we're watching the Overwatch League, and they got
Yeah.
the webcams that come up, the 5 webcams of the players, and they're all in this jersey. That looks good. It's a good
Looks pretty
jersey.
cool, yeah.
I like it more
I'd say
than than this Charge one.
Yep.
Because first of all,
I-
like we've always said, this entire segment they've hidden sort of like the divider with just having white, and the text is in blue. So whereas the Charge is just like you got this streak of navy just in the middle of it.
You know what? I think because the Boston jersey hides the band well, I'm willing to agree with you.
Agreed. Yes.
The fact that it hides the band, it's a better flow. It flows better.
That's fine. I'll live with it. As long as it's in B, I don't really care. I just don't think it deserves to go above B.
B's
but
good.
I'm-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is it for the 19 jerseys. We're missing Chengdu, of course. So the final verdict. San Francisco Shock at first, in S with New York and Seoul Inferno. Seoul Inferno, really charitable to be top of S here, I feel like, with the Blossoms. And the fact that Divider blocked the Blossoms. A tier, Hangzhou Spark, Vancouver Titans, Washington Justice, Florida Mayhem. B tier, Boston, Guangzhou, Shanghai, Houston, Vegas, Atlanta, Los Angeles Gladiators, London Spitfire, and Toronto Defiant. C tier, Los Angeles Valiant, Dallas Fuel, and F tier alone is Seoul Dynasty. Where did we fuck up?
We haven't.
There has to be at least one fuck up in here.
I know. Jack has an opinion on the fuck up, but
Oh, I mean, Toronto Defiant is a fuck up, but the rest of the list I'm really happy with.
What is it?
I personally think Glad's is C, but that's just my opinion.
Glad's being C.
Is my opinion.
So you'd move up London Spitfire a little bit. You move up Toronto Defiant a little bit. Chat. Toronto got scammed. Rain A. Titans is S tier. I don't know about that. Houston too high. Houston's maybe too high. I feel like overall it's a pretty good list here. And it seems like you guys are pretty satisfied with it and ready to go have lunch or something. So.
I mean,
honestly, I just don't care that much. So, because they're jerseys.
All right.
I'm quite hungry though.
I'm
You
just
say that,
trying to
actually
finish
quite
this segment
hungry.
of Avast so we can finish the podcast. All right.
I can't wait for this tier list to be on Reddit so we can see what the people think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're gonna hate it regardless.
Yeah,
like
it's
Connor
gonna
said,
fun.
everything's subjective. So
There you go. Post it on your favorite Reddit forum. Great. There you
Quick,
go.
farm the karma.
2023 Overwatch League jersey tier list. Missing Chengdu, of course. There we have it. All right. Well, that makes it. We only have one more segment, of course, to discuss here on the podcast, and it's Brent's Prayer of the Week. And I have a candidate, unless you guys can think of something else.
I've got one, but
Well, I wanna hear the candidate.
I think it was a nice little thread. I think most of us saw it with KSF moving on from the Overwatch League and becoming a software engineer. He told his story on how he moved on from the league. So, KSF seems to be doing good, advancing his life, finding some kind of career outside of the Overwatch League, because it can be pretty tough to be part of the Overwatch League and then to just hard quit gaming and pursue a job outside of esports. It can be tough for some people, but KSF, he found something that worked for him. He pursued it, and now has a job as a software engineer. So this was a great story.
Pretty cool.
For KSF.
But just for the sake of comparison, bring up the Gushui tweet.
I was going to say Gushui.
Gushui tweet.
Yeah,
Did I miss
was
out
gonna
on
say Gushui
something?
as well. Yep, you did.
Oh, you missed out on something.
You missed
Wait,
out.
what is
I
his
was also-
Twitter? Gushui what?
Gushui.
I think it's
Like
just
number.
Gushui, yeah.
Really? Why does it not show up?
Gushui 5. Gushui 5.
Oh, it's Gushui 5.
There you go. The fifth Gushui.
This one?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the one.
There he is. Gushui.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Holy shit, this set. What the?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a crazy looking set.
So two very opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to Bren's Player of the Week.
Indeed. I
Visual
will
cosplay,
say this
ASF
was not
getting
on my
on
social media radar. So
Why not?
because me and Gushui, we don't share time zones. This was posted at 2:03 a.m.
Wow. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That didn't stop Dante.
True. So
So
true.
real.
You up? Anyway. So what do we think? Between Gushui and KSF, what do we got? Avril Jaws seems to be leaning Gushui.
I mean, Finboys always win for me.
Yeah.
It's not a rule of Plat chat, but in this case, we could give it to Gushui.
Fanboy equal win.
Sorry, KSF. Brent's Prayer of the Week, it's Gushui. And that's it. Plat chat episode, I don't know what the fuck it is. 165? Something like that. Good talk.
Yep.
Anyway, we're on out with some nice jersey talk. And there you go. Brent's Prayer of the Week. YouTube chat really enjoyed it. So it's like I've got the right choice in. Next week, I'm not going to be around at home, so we won't be able to record an episode, but we will probably, hopefully, have a pre-recorded episode at your disposal, so we won't miss a week, despite me being gone. So, but thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode, and Avast, you look so miserable. Anyway, see you guys next week for another episode of that chat. Goodbye.
Bye.